It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Into the field! Number 70!
We're talking about practice.
Hello, you play to win the game.
The Yankees are champions of baseball!
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
3, 2, 1, happy 2000!
No time on the clock, and the Patriots have won Super Bowl 36.
Jordan open! Chicago with the lead!
Worldwide Sports Radio Network presents Below the Mark.
Hello, Long Island, New York, and around the country. This is Below the Mic. Remember, you can call us at www.sportsonthego1.com. Again, it's www.sportsonthego1.com. That's your phone right there? Is that your phone? That might be on your phone. It's somebody's phone.
Yeah, it's his.
You got to shut off your phone, Mike. As you know, you can call us at 631-965-4990. Again, the number is 631-965-4990. Remember, you could also go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. And ladies and gentlemen, you could also do this. You could download our app by going to iOS, how do you do that? Well, it's very simple. All you have to do is go to Apple, your application store, you put in WWSRN, or you can go to Android and put in Worldwide Sports Radio Network. You can follow us. You can watch our shows. You can listen to our shows live every single day. You can go to the podcast end of it, the replays of the show, and listen to all the shows, the replays, whatever you missed. You can read our articles that are posted up every single week. And all the fans, it's really fan-friendly, so definitely check that out if you don't have it on your phone. Well, we have a special guest, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you remember him from Sports on the Go 1 Radio. He was my partner for almost 4 years. Mr. Mikey C. What's going on, Mike? How are you?
Pretty good, man. How's everything?
We are good, man. And you want to know something? A funny story behind this is I get a phone call from Mike today, and he said, I'm feeling up to coming on the show today. I said, are you getting some gifts? Are you getting some prizes? Are you getting some money? Well, who's offering you something? Because it wasn't me. Usually, he's the guy that likes to stay behind the scenes now. He doesn't really like to be in front of the camera. But I'm very happy to get him on the show because what we do and what we've built with the Worldwide Sports Radio Network was really on what we do as a duo. The argumental attacks.
Checks and balances.
Yeah, the checks and balances. I guess so.
I put you in check and then I balance you off.
I don't know about checks and balances or balancing me out. I mean, seriously. It's more like rolling the dice.
I also came to let you remember what greatness looks like.
Oh, yeah?
Greatness.
Oh, yeah? Is that what you call it? Let's go in through the NFL right now. I know we haven't spoke about. We're not going to do sports and entertainment news today because Mikey C is in the studio. So I'd really like to get his intake of what's going on right now in sports. So your New York Giants. Where do you see the New York Giants? What do you see with the New York Giants?
Well, I know that we always talk off the air, and I always, and I knew they were going to be bad. I didn't realize that the rest of the division was going to be just as bad as well. I hate to say this, and it kind of bothers me, but everything that's going on in the division, I actually think the Giants might be able to win the division. And I'm kind of annoyed by that because I don't want them making the playoffs, sniffing the playoffs, or anything. But the other teams are just as bad. And the way the Giants have been playing the last 2 weeks, I have a feeling, if they can get past the Eagles, which I think they can, I don't want to. I hope they lose every game out. But I think they're going to beat the Eagles. And if they beat the Eagles, the division's theirs.
Well, right now, this is
theirs. The Cowboys.
This is the worst division in football.
Right.
This is the worst division in sports. It really is. It used to be the AFC East. Now it's the NFC East.
And I want them to lose every single game, but it's just not going to happen.
No, well, I will say this. I've been very impressed with certain parts of their game. Their defense has been fabulous. Really, their defense has just developed every single week. You're seeing some of your younger players. Dexter Lawrence looks like he's a player. I mean, they have players on this team. Carter. There are players, and their defense, their secondary has played better after they brought in Bradbury. He's been
what helped
fresh air.
was a signing of Logan Ryans to take care of the other side. So they're kind of stable at corners right now, which is shocking, and impressive. And then obviously the defense with a new defensive coordinator, is slowly coming together. And the best thing that I think Gettleman's ever done, besides Bradbury, is bring in Blake Martinez, who's a tackling machine.
Yeah. Well, I like Blake Martinez. He came from Green Bay, and he was a good defensive player for Green Bay, but he couldn't stay healthy, and there's certain aspects of his game that, first of all, he's not a good covered defender. He really isn't.
No.
He's good at getting to the quarterback, blitzing, packages, stopping the run. That's what he's good at. And by the way, the Giants, which were ranked one of the worst in the league at stopping the run last year, they're right now, I think they're in the top 10 at stopping the run. So I think they're ranked either 10th or 11th right now in run defense. So they've played fabulous, and that has a lot to do with Dexter Lawrence, the guy that a lot of people did not like when they drafted him. They got him in the first round. I think he was the 15th pick.
17th, yeah.
17th pick.
Yeah, he was the second pick after Daniel Jones.
Yeah, and
he was the Odell pick.
And he was, to me, he's been the best player in that draft class. He really has. He's been unbelievable. He's a tackling machine. He can stop the run. He's the Quentin Williams of the New York Giants. He's not as good as Quentin Williams, but he's good. Dexter Lawrence has proven that he could play in this game, and he could be a long-lasting New York Giants defense.
Well, the Giants' defensive line, there was never any issues there because you had Tomlinson, you had B.J. Hill, and the resurgence of your buddy, Leonard Williams, has really
played fabulous for the Giants.
It's shockingly because I don't think he's worth the money. But whatever, it is what it is from that seek. And just as an overall team, like I said, with the new defensive coordinator, I think it just took time to understand what they were trying to do on the defensive side of the ball.
I think it has a lot to do with the 4-3 defense, too. Leonard Williams, who played in the 3-4 defense for the Jets for almost 5 years, transitioned to a 4-3. I think Quentin Williams should fit better in the 4-3. So you could see the difference in what a guy like Dexter Lawrence adding to the line and Leonard Williams adding to the line for the Giants can transition to this defense. This defense has played as well as any defense in football, really, the last 3 weeks. They've been unbelievable. They should have beaten the Eagles a couple of weeks ago if Evan Ingram actually held on to the ball. There's a lot of things about the Giants that really surprise me. Daniel Jones, he's still dropping the ball. The ball keeps coming out of his hands. That's a huge problem moving forward for the New York Giants. And if they do get a top 3 pick or they get a top 4 pick, do they look at another quarterback? That's going to be a very interesting thing that the Giants are going to have to do in the offseason. And if they do that, do they fire Gettleman? Because Gettleman took a huge chance on Daniel Jones. And I still think Daniel Jones could be a good player in this league. The problem with him is the same thing with Sam. Sam forces the ball in certain areas that make no sense when he gets into trouble. And Daniel Jones, when he gets a lot of pressure inside the pocket, he doesn't know what to do with the ball. He doesn't know where to throw the ball. He drops the ball. He can't hold on to the ball. Both quarterbacks have had problems in both aspects of their game. So I'm surprised that when you look at the Giants and Joe Judge, who actually looks like a coach. He really does. I mean, I didn't like that pick. Obviously, Matt Rule was their number one target, but Matt Rule got like $9 or $8 million from the Carolina Panthers. And right now, he looks well worth it because the Carolina Panthers are playing good football. They're not a playoff team this year, but in the next 2 or 3 years, they could be the team to beat in their division. So, and Christian McCaffrey was out half the season. So,
and he's out again.
Yeah. So I think that's a huge problem. But again, Matt Rule was the right pick, but Joe Judge has looked good. And I know Speedy didn't like that pick. I think a lot of Giant fans didn't know who Joe Judge was. I was a guy that actually wrote a story on our network about Joe Judge, thinking that it was a joke, an absolute joke bringing him in. But maybe you've seen Brian Flores. He's worked out in Miami. He's been fabulous. He could be coach of the year right now for the Miami Dolphins. And Joe Judge, who has won 2 games with this Giant team that a lot of people thought was lucky to win 1. And I think the Giants have a very good chance this year to win their division because the division is that bad. There could be a division winner with 6 wins or 7 wins. As crazy as it may sound, that's how bad this division is. It's horrendous. Could you imagine the Jets in this division?
They might have won a game.
You probably won a couple of games. I mean, seriously.
They beat the Cowboys last year, so I guess it's possible.
Getting into the Jets, I know the Jets have been the laughingstock of the NFL. And this has been going on for the last couple of years. I do like Joe Douglas. I like what he did in the draft. I like what he's been doing, giving away pieces because he didn't want to bring him back next year. He wanted to get something for him. Think about it. You get a 5th and a 6th round draft pick, a 7th round draft pick. You can take those picks and move up in the 4th round, maybe in a year or two, where you can significantly get a player that you really, really like in the 4th or 5th, even in the 3rd round. If you give up 2 6th and a 7th, you can move all the way up to the last at the end of the 6th, end of the 3rd round. We've seen Seattle do that. So there are some moves and some thoughts that Joe Doug's a kind of question who he is as a GM, but I really like what he's done, and I don't know what's going to go on with Sam Darnold. I know the stories are coming out. Save Sam. Did you see the shirts that they have now? Save Sam?
No.
Suck for Sam and now Save Sam. I mean, like, seriously.
I feel bad for the kid.
I do too. I do too. But you want to know something? You can't pass up on a quarterback as good as Trevor Lawrence.
He's not coming out if the Jets have the number 1 pick.
Oh, I do believe it. And I'll tell you this: there's no way an agent right now that he's talking to agents. There's no way an agent's going to tell you to pass up on a $40-something million contract when you have the opportunity to make that kind of money. First of all, he doesn't come from a very wealthy family. Okay, he doesn't. Not a poor family, but not a wealthy family.
He can go back to school next year and not play again.
Why would he do that? Why would he do that? He's won every single thing he possibly can.
Because the Jets will ruin him.
Now, the Jets will ruin him? There's a lot of teams that have taken quarterbacks, Mikey, and said that they were going to ruin him and turned him into good quarterbacks.
But the Jets are a different franchise
why?
than every other team.
Kansas City's been a bad franchise for years. All of a sudden, they bring in Patrick Mahomes,
well,
and they're a good franchise.
Brought them respectability.
Well, who was that from? Jim Harbaugh. Andy Reid. Jim Harbaugh. Now, Jim Harbaugh is the one who kind of changed Alex.
No. What I'm saying, Alex. Well, I mean, I'm not talking about that. I'm just
bring
talking
Jim
about
Harbaugh into the Jets.
When bringing in Alex Smith, because when the 49ers got Garoppolo, then Alex Smith went to the Kansas City Chiefs, and Andy Reid was there.
No, listen. I like Andy Reid. I like Alex Smith. I like what Kansas City is doing. But again, we can go back and forth and we can argue the points. I do not believe Trevor Lawrence. A lot of people don't believe that Trevor Lawrence, even though Stephen A. Smith and every stupid personal, I guess personal.
I think that's why he made that comment.
Well, no, every single quarterback makes that comment. Baker Mayfield made that comment. Okay? There were a bunch of quarterbacks that come out of the draft over the years. Sam Darnold, nobody knew that Sam Darnold was going to come out of the draft until Sam Darnold's father actually talked to the press and said that we believe Sam is good enough right now to come out of the draft, being he was the youngest quarterback to come out of the draft in NFL history. So why would Trevor Lawrence pass up on a team? Now, the Jets, there are a lot of franchises that are not good. Joe Burrows went to the Bengals this offseason, okay? Everybody said that Joe Burrows should have played another year in college. He could have played a senior year in college, but he decided to come out of the draft. So there are players, there are teams that have been terrible. And I know we've made fun of the Browns over the years, Mike. We've made fun of the Lions over the years. We've made fun of all these teams and all these quarterbacks. Matthew Stafford 10, 12, 13 years ago when he came out of the draft. Why would he come out of the draft? Though he's going to the Lions. The Lions are probably the worst franchise in NFL history.
A year after they went winless too.
They went winless too, and they got Matthew Stafford. So, and Matthew Stafford only played 2 years of college football. So this is a kid that I cannot see him passing up or coming to draft. Now, he could be an Eli Manning, and he could come out and say, I don't want to play for the Jets, and he could do that. But I can't see it. I don't see him. I don't see a father figure like Archie coming up to you and coming up to the platform saying that my son doesn't want to play for San Diego. My son wants to play for the New York Giants. I can't see Trevor Lawrence's family doing that. This is a kid that comes from California. I'm pretty sure it's from California.
I think so.
A Cali kid who doesn't come from a very wealthy family, a middle end type of family that has they have somewhat money, but they haven't had NFL type of money. You're talking about millions and millions of dollars. And if he passes up to go to the Jets this year, who's he going to go next year? I mean, seriously, you're going to go to a bad team. You're not going to go to a good team being drafted at number 1. There is a lot of these teams, and you could say whatever you want, Mike. Go look at all the teams that are going to be bad next year. We could probably pick who is going to be bad and who's going to be good next year. We could probably pick. So why would you go to another organization that's probably going to be bad as the Jets this year? Maybe not as bad, but bad. Win 1 game or 2 games, or go to the Jets where you'll be one of the answers to this franchise that has not won for 50 years. Also, this franchise that has been really inept on drafting the right quarterback, because Sam Darnold, as good as Sam Darnold I believe he's going to be and what he is as a player, he is not an accurate passer. He's not. Look at the quarterbacks the Jets have drafted. Mark Sanchez was not an accurate passer from USC. We go up in the only quarterback that looked accurate when they brought him to the organization was Chad Pennington, and Chad Pennington couldn't stay healthy. So this has been the Jets' poison, is finding the quarterback that could be accurate, can get the pass. Because to me, Sam Darnold, and it's funny because I was talking with Jet fan online today on social media. Chris Sweeney, by the way, and Chris is a huge Jet fan. I saw him Save Sam T-shirt, and I said, "What do you think the Jets should do?" And he says, "I think we should keep Sam and trade the pick and try to get as much draft stock as we possibly can." And I said to him, "Okay, so do you think with Sam Darnold, you put Trevor Lawrence on this team with the players that they have, do the Jets win more games with Trevor Lawrence or do they win more games with Sam Darnold? Honestly." And he says, "Probably Trevor Lawrence." I said, "Why?" "Because he's probably more of an accurate passer." So he is an accurate passer. He's much more accurate than Sam Darnold. If you look at his statistics, Trevor Lawrence, before he threw an interception, before he threw a bad pass, I think he had 365 passes before an interception. I mean, the last person to do that in college was Russell Wilson. How good is Russell Wilson right now? How good is Russell Wilson in the NFL? He's pretty damn good. You have to look at these statistics and you have to say, Joe Douglas.
I can't with college because Clemson is a loaded program. And when you deal with colleges, not everybody has that ability to be able to load up with all, the top flight recruits and stuff like that. Clemson is that program. So that's why I can't take those types of scenarios or statistics that seriously because, when you deal with college, every team in the NFL is going to be loaded. In college, there's really a few teams that are loaded, period. Not much. So statistics, throw it out the window.
Yeah, but LSU was loaded, and look how good Burrow's been so far.
That's my point.
Well,
I get what you're saying, but I'm saying, it all depends. I mean, because not every NFL team is loaded. They're much bigger, faster, and everything. My point being is it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter whether, Sam Darnold at USC, threw more interceptions. They didn't have the luxury of being able to have, the top recruits go there because USC is a middle-of-the-pack program type of way. Clemson is in the championship game. Ohio State, the bigger programs usually are going to get the better recruits. So it's not fair to compare statistics off colleges.
Wow.
Of what they've done in college because it's a different program. Because, for example, you and I, if we went to USC, we might throw more picks. But if we went to a loaded program, maybe we'll throw less picks. I mean, don't get me wrong. The player has a lot of involvement of being smart or aware, but that's why you're a top recruit. You went to the best school or the best program. Let me rephrase that.
No, and again, my argument isn't that Trevor Lawrence isn't going to be a good quarterback in the NFL. My argument isn't he shouldn't come out and go to the Jets. My argument with right now, when you look at the Jets and you look at their organization, of course, why would you want to go to the Jets when you can wait until, I don't know, next year and go to the Bengals or go to the Browns next year because Baker Mayfield's not the right guy? Would you rather go to the Browns? And honestly, the Jets are not as bad of an organization as the Cleveland Browns. They're not. Cleveland has not done anything. They have gone nowhere. They've done nothing. They've won nothing. A matter of fact, besides...
You're right, but they do kind of have slightly bit more talent.
Right now. But the Jets right now have an overstock of draft picks. They have 9 picks in the next 2 years in the first 3 rounds. I mean, how many teams are going to have that? Not even the Dolphins have that. With all their draft stock, they don't have that. And the Jets have an opportunity now to maybe move Sam Darnold to get maybe 2 second rounds in a third, or maybe a late first round in a 4th round draft pick. There are teams that are going to be lining up for Sam Darnold because Indianapolis, who doesn't have a future quarterback, they're not going to get a high pick because they're fighting for a playoff spot. The Pittsburgh Steelers that are trying to find a replacement for Ben Roethlisberger. There are teams that are looking for a franchise quarterback. Juju Smith Jr. played with Sam Darnold in USC. That would would fit like a glove for Sam Darnold to go to Pittsburgh, stay behind Ben Roethlisberger for a year or two.
They're not going to re-sign Juju. Pittsburgh. Everything I've been reading, they are with Claypool's emergence. Claypool, Johnson, and the other kid are their 3 guys.
Washington.
Right. They're not paying Juju.
No, that's fine. But again,
I actually think if Juju hits the market and Sam's a Jet, Juju's a Jet.
Well, I think Juju's a Jet no matter what. Because I think the Jets will look at Juju as a second guy. You have Denzel Mims.
I think he's a first guy.
I don't think so. I think you can maneuver him as a second guy. You could put him in the slot. He could do a lot of things. Juju is a big, strong
You have
wide
Crowder
receiver.
in the slot.
Yeah, but I think they'll move Crowder in the offseason because
Why?
Crowder's
The guy actually catches balls.
Yeah, but he can't stay healthy, and he hasn't stayed healthy really his whole career.
This
This
is
is
the
the
best
first
chance
chance
to sell
This is the first. No, he's
Yeah, but you're not paying him a lot of money, and nobody's paying for receivers when you got these receivers coming out of the draft that in the last 2 years have been phenomenal. So in the first 3 rounds, almost every receiver is looking good. So nobody's going to pay a price on a receiver. You watch the trade deadline. Everybody went for 6-round picks.
No,
You're not getting much.
Mike,
you're not selling high.
nobody.
You're not. The way the NFL is going now, you can't sell high on anybody right now. You can't because with obviously the pandemic, the salaries.
That's why it's
money,
perfect. That's perfect. To
Nobody's
trade.
selling high.
That's why he's the perfect right now. Trading Sam Darnold for a late first-round draft pick would be a perfect move for the Jets because you don't know. You don't know what some of these players are going to be. Some of these teams are not even having a season. Look how many teams are not going to have a season this year. How many players are going to go into the draft nobody's even seen? I mean, there's an opportunity right now where teams are going to look at that big picture. Why do you think Seattle gave up 2 first-round draft picks for Jamal Adams? Was it worth it? Not even close. I'm sorry.
No, they're a dumb organization, but they thought it would help their defense.
It didn't. They have one of the worst secondaries in football. Jamal Adams came back last week. They gave up 30-something points. They lost the game against the Buffalo Bills, okay? Buffalo Bills team, let's be honest, as good as they are on paper, they're really not that good. And Josh Allen has been the best quarterback in that draft class. He has been. I mean, Lamar Jackson, he won an MVP last year. They're complaining.
I'm sorry. Lamar Jackson is so overrated. So overrated. I think, what did he win the MVP for? Because he ran so many touchdowns? He's so overrated. And
he's not an accurate thrower.
Not only that, it's been proven time and time again. Running quarterbacks don't win Super Bowls. Period.
No, you're absolutely right. I'm not going to argue with you on that.
I like him. I'm just saying, I like.
game.
No, I know. I like Lamar Jackson. I'm not discounting what the kid did. I'm just saying he's overrated. Like, just because he won the MVP doesn't make him great. He just had one great season. That's it.
Well, I still think he's
not going to win anything.
He's having a good season. No,
I don't think they'll ever win anything.
The Baltimore Ravens have a chance to win this year.
I don't think they're going to.
The only problem, I want to see Lamar Jackson jump over the hump. This guy can't win a big game. I want to see him beat a good team.
He rather run than throw. And if you're going to rather run than throw, eventually you're going to get caught.
He's got to beat Pittsburgh and he's got to beat Kansas City. He's got to beat one of them. If he wants to prove a point that he can win the big game, he's got to beat one of those good teams.
Now the overall team of Baltimore is very good. That's what
most talented team in football.
That's what makes them, a team to beat or one of the teams to beat. But when it comes down, I mean, you kind of said the big game. I just look at it as, whatever it is, under pressure, whatever. He'd rather run. And that's what's going to kill him because, that's what he's known for. That's what I mean by granted, he had a great season last year. He won the MVP. Whoop-de-doo. MVP is just an accolade of, I did this for that. It's a statistical award, in my opinion. Who really cares? The bottom line is it's about winning.
I'm the same.
I'm not going to lie. Mahomes should have really won the MVP last year.
Lamar Jackson had a fantastic
year. I know that, but what's the difference between – the only difference was Lamar Jackson ran more touchdowns than Mahomes. It's the only difference. Mahomes I hate to say this, is the best quarterback in the league.
I don't think so.
Mahomes also missed 3 games, though.
Russell Wilson's the best quarterback in the league.
Mahomes, I like Russ. I'm not going to lie.
Russ is the best quarterback.
He's gotten better and better year after year, but Mahomes is just electrifying.
Russ should have won the MVP last year. Okay, let's be honest.
Even him.
He should have won the MVP last year. If you're going to pick between
Lamar
him and
Jackson
Lamar.
Runs 10 touch, big deal.
But he threw over 3,500 yards. I mean, for a running quarterback that ran over 1,100 yards.
Great season.
Yeah, but that's why he won. Right. And was he the best quarterback in the league? No, I think Russell Wilson. The last 3 seasons, Russell Wilson has been the best quarterback in the league. He's thrown the most touchdowns. He's thrown the most yards.
He's phenomenal.
He's phenomenal.
And DK Metcalf has grown up quickly.
I'll tell you this right now. Wow. I was very pissed off that the Jets didn't draft him in the second round. I wanted the Jets to draft him. They had an opportunity to draft him a couple of years ago. He fell all the way to the late second round, and then Seattle scooped him up.
I think the last pick of the second round.
Yeah,
I'm impressed that he grew up quickly.
Now Russell Wilson said he was like Jerry Rice. I think he's out of his mind. He's on drugs.
He reminds me more of Julio Jones. He's so big and fast. DK Metcalf reminds me of the next coming of Julio Jones.
And Quan Bolden. guy
I think he's bigger than Anquan Bolden.
And Anquan Bolden's strong.
I know that.
He doesn't drop the ball.
I think DK Metcalf has a lot of speed. Bolden was a very good possession receiver.
Very good route runner.
Very good possession receiver.
And so is DK Metcalf. He's a good route runner.
But I think he has blazing speed at his size, 6'4".
He's 6'4", very fast, and the Jets are looking at their young kid who Denzel Mims has shown.
I need to see more.
Yeah, so do I. But he looks good.
Yeah.
He looks good in the last 3 games. No, 3. He's played 3 games.
Oh, I only
42. He had
2 for 20, 2 for 40.
7 looks his first game, 42 yards, which some of the passes were just outrageous. I don't know where Sam was throwing him in the first game. Second game was Joe Flacco, which he only threw the ball 3 times. Sam threw the ball 3 times in the first quarter. He had 42 yards. He had that long pass for 25 yards. And then the other day, 62 yards on, I think, 7 looks. I mean, if you give Denzel Mims 10 or 12 looks, he's going to get 100 yards. I mean, that's the type of player that he is. And and a lot of people thought I was crazy about this. Out of that draft class, out of that wide receiver draft class, who did I say, Speedy? There was only one guy that I thought was better than Denzel Mims. CeeDee Lamb. And CeeDee Lamb's had a good year.
Claypool's better than him.
Oh, who? Better than who?
Mims.
Claypool's played more games. We don't know what Mims is going to do.
I think he was talking more skill-wise.
Skill-wise.
I mean, Jerry Judy's better than him.
Jerry Judy's not better than Mims.
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me?
No. See, this is what
Come
Jerry...
on. Now
if
you're
watch,
using your Jet bias.
No,
Come on, stop.
I am not a Jet bias. I talk about this all the time on the show. I'm not a Jet bias. I'm not down. I like Jerry Judy. The problem with Jerry Judy is he's a route runner. He's not a big guy, and he doesn't... You're not going to...
torched, last week, and finally,
Torched who?
Who did they play Denver last week when they almost came back? The
Chargers.
Atlanta.
Okay.
The Chargers, they did come back.
Atlanta. We're talking about one of the worst secondaries in football, okay? Atlanta, who their defense, they've had 23-0 leads, and they've given up leads, okay? Jerry Judy, Denzel Mims, if he plays against Atlanta, he's going to get 100 and some odd yards. I mean, that defense is not good. Atlanta's offense is fabulous. They have a great explosive offense. But their defense, they're horrendous, Mike. They are terrible. So I like Jerry Judy, too. I think there's a lot of good. Jefferson.
I was just going to say Jefferson's another one.
He's good.
If Kirk Cousins could actually get him the ball.
But again, you're looking at a kid that has only played 3 games this year.
No, I know that. No, I get your point.
And they have no weapons.
Where you're saying that,
I think
in your opinion, Denzel Mims is
thought he was the
only one that's
best.
better is CeeDee, and I'm like, no way.
I've only said no.
Too a little premature to say.
No, I said before the draft, there's only one wide receiver in the draft that I would take over Denzel Mims.
Would take.
And that
but
was
you wanted Judy.
Yes, early I did. But then I was reading
I'm not going to lie. He's phenomenal.
No, here's the problem with Judy, and this is what worries me. He's undersized. And in the NFL, you're going to see. Now, he's not Wes Welker.
There's so many undersized receivers.
Yeah, but he's very undersized. He's very thin, and he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that it factor. When we saw DK Metcalf come out of the draft, we saw his body, the way his huge, his whole body, his physique. He was unbelievable. I mean, it's different. The game is different. Now, do I think Jerry Judy is going to be a successful? I think a lot of wide receivers in that draft.
The last 2 years, I think these wide receivers are going to be really good.
This is the best wide receiving class we've seen in over 25 years.
Yeah, I agree.
They're saying 25 years, 16 wide receivers drafted in the first 2 rounds.
Phenomenal.
I mean, there are a lot of good wide receivers in this draft class. And again, I'm not saying I don't know what Denzel Mims is. I don't. But what I've seen so far is he's explosive, he's long, he's strong, he's big, he can jump high, and he'll go after the ball. He doesn't care where the ball is, he'll go after the ball. And that's what you want. That's what you expect from wide receivers. Odell Beckham is an undersized wide receiver. Odell Beckham couldn't stay healthy.
He's done.
Yeah, but he's an undersized
Which
wide
I
receiver.
said a couple of years ago. He's done.
Jarvis Landry, another undersized receiver. He can't stay healthy. I'm talking about guys that are under. What are you going to say, Speedy? Are you going to say something? No. I'm talking about undersized wide receivers in the league. And Denzel Mims is 6'3", runs a 40 and 4.3. Vertical leap, I think, was 38, 39. I mean, had more crazy plays in the NCAA in his final year at Baylor. I mean, the guy is fantastic. The problem with the Jets is they don't have anybody that complements him on the other side. I don't want to hear about Perriman, okay? He had a good game the other day. Everybody wants to talk about it. Look who they played. Look at the secondary that they played. And it was a depleted secondary. secondary.
Right, with no Gilmore.
Yes, it was a depleted secondary. If Gilmore was taking Perriman, he wouldn't have had a chance to have 2 touchdowns and over 100 yards. Okay,
He might not even had 2 catches.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't have. So Denzel Mims would have probably been Gilmore's target to defend because I think he's more explosive and he's a better player. But and you saw what he could do. And I'm not going to say anything. And the Jets should have won that game against the Patriots. By the way,
Oh, yeah.
they should have won that game.
Should have won.
They should have won that game. But you want to know something? I was very happy that they didn't win the game because all I kept hearing from text messages, Mike, is, there it goes. The first round, the number 1 pick is gone. No Trevor Lawrence. And I said, let's stop talking about Trevor Lawrence. Let's stop talking about Trevor Lawrence. Let's talk about being the number 1 pick, having and owning the number 1 pick. Let's not talk about a quarterback. Let's see what Joe Douglas does in the offseason. Maybe he decides, you know what? We'll keep Sam. We will trade that number 1 pick and get a boatload of picks. We can get 3 first rounds, 2 second rounds, and a 4th. And you saw what he got for Jamal Adams. Could you imagine getting a player of a guy like Trevor Lawrence? They're saying he's the best quarterback coming out of the draft since Andrew Luck. You're talking about Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson. You're talking about all these these quarterbacks that have been drafted. They're saying he's better. And by the way, Dabo Swinney, who said that it would be a big mistake, it's like not drafting Michael Jordan with Deshaun Watson. Now he's saying that Trevor Lawrence is 5 or 6 times better than Deshaun Watson. So when you're looking at how good Deshaun Watson is and how talented Deshaun Watson is on a bad team, you put Trevor Lawrence on the Jets, he's going to make everybody around him better. Sam doesn't do that. Sam hasn't done that. So that's the problem with me with Sam. Sam's taking a little bit more time to figure things out. Maybe because of Adam Gase, maybe because of Todd Bowles, maybe because of the change of offensive coaches that he's had. Nevertheless, Trevor Lawrence, see what he does on the football field. There was nothing said that he can't throw it accurate. He can't make every single throw. He doesn't have the best arm in college football. They've said he does. They say he's great on the run and inside and out of the pocket. He could do everything. He's a great leader. He's got everything. So why would the Jets pass up on Trevor Lawrence unless they're going to get a boatload like RG3 with the Washington football team? Am I right or wrong, Mike?
No, I agree.
So it's just, I'm surprised he agrees. It's a match made in heaven today. But the Jets can't pass up on Trevor Lawrence. It doesn't matter who, unless, like I said, the Cowboys come up and gives you an outlandish offer where we're going to give you 4 first-round draft picks, we're going to give you a 2nd and a 4th this year. Then the Jets have to sit back and say, you know what? Right now you have 4 first-round draft picks in the next 2 years. You get another 3 or 4 draft picks. You're talking about rebuilding your team just through the draft. You don't have to worry about free agency anymore. You just build. And what Joe Douglas so far has done in the draft, Denzel Mims looks like a guy. Man, the punter looks like one of the best punters in the league right now. LaMichael Piron looks like he's getting better and better every single week. Beckham looks like he's the best offensive lineman in the draft. He just has to stay healthy. I mean, look at the draft class that he drafted. He just drafted Hall. He played the other day, and he shut down their second wide receiver, the Patriots' second wide receiver. So
who?
I don't know who their second, but he was on the field.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter, but he shut down. This
7-Eleven was open all day long.
Mike, this is a kid that hasn't played for a year and a half.
No. I know that. I'm just saying, like, I mean,
he was a 6th-round draft pick who a lot of people thought was a first-round talent.
Well, because of his injuries in the past.
He was one of the best corners in college football before he got hurt.
And they got him, and he's playing, and he played. Yeah, nobody even knew. A matter of fact, a lot of Jet fans didn't even realize he was on the field. They were like, Hall played in the game? I said, yes. He played most of the snaps.
He wasn't supposed to come back that early, though.
No. And I'm telling you right now, he's going to be their number 1 guy. He will be their number 1 guy moving forward. I think he's going to be a very good player. I think that when you look at the draft class, he's hit on most of his picks. Now, Ashton Davis looked really, really good this past week against the Patriots. He didn't look very good with Kansas City because he was playing Hill, and he still has to figure out things on the field. Remember, this kid has only played a year or 2 years of college football, so he was an early draft pick. A lot of people thought he was going to be an unbelievable talent. The question still stands. You saw him knock the ball out of what's-his-name against Hands in the 4th quarter. That could have helped the Jets win the game. I mean, Ashton Davis could be a good player, too. So the Jets have put themselves in a very good position to keep on drafting. And Joe Douglas, say whatever you want about what he's brought in free agency. And let me tell you something. What he's brought in for free agency and his year and a half being here with the Jets has been horrendous. I'm sorry. I mean, look at the guys he's brought in. they have not worked out. None of them. Their offensive linemen that they brought in have not worked out. They really haven't. McGovern looks like if he could stay healthy, he could be a player. George Font, he's had a decent season. He looks like a guy that they're probably going to move on. Van Rotten looks like he's washed up. I know he wanted to play for the Jets. He came from Long Island. He grew up watching the Jets and wanted to play for the Jets. He's got his wish, but he's been horrendous this year. So, I mean, all in all, I mean, if you're a Jets fan, I don't know why you would be upset that the Jets lose out all these games. There's a great opportunity for the Jets to rebuild this organization from the top to bottom, including getting rid of Adam Gase at the end of the season, where you're going to stock up on draft picks or draft arguably one of the best quarterbacks we've seen since Andrew Luck. So there's no argument to that. I can't complain about that as a Jet fan. You should be excited and forthcoming of where the Jets could be in the future. I think the Jets are in a very good position. And last year, there were no free agent wide receivers that were available. There was nobody. A.J. Green was the best one available, and the Bengals decided to franchise him because Joe Burrows wanted to play with him because he grew up a Cincinnati Bengals fan. He loved, and let me tell you something, he has not had a good season. So thank God the Jets didn't acquire him in the offseason because A.J. Green does not look like A.J. Green. He's a Hall of Famer, fantastic player. He's not the same A.J. Green. But you got T.Y. Hilton. You have Allen Robinson. You got guys that are
I think T.Y. Hilton's done too many injuries. Possibly,
but get T.Y. Hilton for $3 million a year. You bring him in for 2 years and see what he has. You don't have to worry about him. You put him out on the outside and see what he can do. Whoever is your quarterback. You need to give him weapons. Here's another thing. Julio Jones is there's rumors coming out that the Atlanta Falcons are willing to move on from Julio Jones. He's 31 years old, still has a lot left in him.
I would do that.
Give up a third or fourth round draft pick for him. I think that's what Atlanta will get for him. I'd bring Julio Jones in if you're going to bring Trevor Lawrence or even keep Sam Darnold in the mix of things. Give him a target that's going to go up there and get the ball and help the young kid like Mims, who's almost the same identical size as him and very athletic just like him. Maybe help Mims grow. And you see Jamison Crowder. He's a great leader. But right now, in the offseason, Jamison Crowder's having one of his best seasons of his career. I would absolutely move on for Jamison Crowder. Trade him. You can get a third-round draft pick for Jamison Crowder. He's been the best slot, the second or third. I thought I said almost the best. He's either the second or third best slot receiver right now in football. If you look at his numbers, who's better than him? Who's had better season than him besides
Adam Thielen? Was number one.
Adam Thielen. I think Jamison Crowder before he got hurt was third in all-purpose yards, everything statistically. So you can get, even if you can't get a third, get a fourth. You can get a fourth for Jamison Crowder. You'd be crazy not to trade Jamison Crowder for a fourth-round draft pick. You're trying to build. You could be a very good team in 1 year. The Jets could be good next year. They really could. With $98 million next year, they're second in football. I think there's only one team. I think Jacksonville is the only team that has more money, $100 million, and the Jets have $98 million if they decide to move on with some of their players. And they still have C.J. Mosley, and they're going to keep C.J. Mosley, who's going to be back next year. So, I mean, the Jets are in good shape. I don't know why anybody thinks that anything differently. And if Trevor Lawrence was a smart guy and he has a good agent, his agent needs to sit back and look at what the Jets have. Look at what the where they can generate stock, in the draft in the next couple of years, where it can help him out and put some good players around him. Ross is going to be in the draft this year. He is hurt. He's injured. He's been his number one target in 3 years. Okay, Ross could be. He was looked at as a first-round draft pick. He's going to fall out to the second round. The Jets have 2 second-round draft picks. Why not they give Trevor Lawrence what he wants? Give him Ross, a guy that he is familiar with. And I could see the Jets doing this. And I'm going to say this again. Jim Harbaugh, and I'm telling you this right now, he is going to be fired from Michigan at the end of the season. He's going to be fired. They're paying him $9 million a year. Michigan, it hasn't worked out. He's more of an NFL coach. You saw the development of what he has done with Alex Smith and what he did with Kaepernick. Yeah. You saw what he did with those guys. He took those guys all the way to one to the NFC title game and the other one to a Super Bowl. Okay? He knows how to get the quarterbacks to play at his game, at his speed. Maybe if you bring in Jim Harbaugh, maybe you say, you know what? Jim Harbaugh says, I can fix him. I can fix him. I can make him a better quarterback. If that's the case, You don't go after Trevor Lawrence. You trade out of that pick and you build around that offensive line and you build around what they're strong at and what they should be strong at. You've heard Joe Douglas say it and you've heard all the good GMs say it. Where do you build your team around? The offensive line and the defensive line. The Jets have no pass rushers. None. Zero. Quinn Williams is one of the best defensive linemen in the league. But you wouldn't know that because their defense, their front seven, is horrendous. It's terrible. Quinn Williams, what is his numbers? What stick out that we were talking about?
Pressure rate and sacks for an interior lineman. He's one of the best in the league. And his run defense grade, I believe, was top 15 in the entire league.
So I think he's in top 5 in run defense.
Okay.
So all in all, they have a player. Quinn Williams is a player on your defense you can build around. Marcus May, if they want to pay him in the offseason, I don't know if they will. Maybe they trade him. Maybe they franchise in him and trade him and try to build around bringing in a free safety that's a veteran that can help out defensively, be your leader on the field. I don't know what the Jets are planning to do. I think the Jets are going to re-sign Marcus May because you can sign him on the cheap. You could probably give him a 3-year deal worth about $46 million. You don't have to pay Jamal Adams money, $90 million. And Marcus May has had a good season. The problem with this secondary really is Pierre Desir has looked like a bust. He really has.
He came from the Colts. If the Colts get rid of you.
Well, he has 5 interceptions. I think he's second. He's second in the league, or he's first in the league in interceptions. But
that was all rigged by Brett Ripien.
Yeah, but all in all, Desir has been a bust, and their secondary is horrendous. I mean, losing Jamal Adams has affected their secondary. But again, I'm not going to talk about the Jets the whole show. Okay, so all in all, I think the Jets are in very good shape. And anybody that thinks that they're not, well, then you're a Jets hater. I'm not. I've taken shots at the Jets organization over and over and over again on the show, over and over and over again. I think they're a horrendous organization right now. They don't know what the hell they're doing. I trust Joe Douglas. I don't trust anybody else with that organization. But with the draft stock that they have and the money that they have and what Joe Douglas has done in the last year and a half, and he showed you that he's not overpaying free agents, you have to be excited on what this guy could do. If he brings in this coach, maybe he decides, you know what, Sam isn't my quarterback. I didn't draft him. I'll trade him for 2 second rounds and a third, and I'll go with Trevor. And I trust Trevor that he's going to do the job. Or maybe he likes Justin Fields better. Maybe he goes to the combine, who Justin Fields has been a beast. Ohio State. Honestly, he is the Heisman Trophy winner in my eyes. I mean,
if they didn't have 8 games, he probably would be.
I mean, Justin Fields is the Heisman Trophy winner in my eyes. He's been the best player in the country right now. He's thrown the most touchdowns. He's thrown the most yards. I mean, and he's winning. He's absolutely winning. I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence hasn't won.
I don't think he's going to be good in the NFL.
I do. I do. He reminds me
of Dwayne Haskins.
No. Dude, this guy's accurate. Dwayne Haskins wasn't accurate. This guy can make every throw. His accuracy is better than Trevor Lawrence. Go look at his accuracy. Tell me. I think his accuracy is almost 70% right now.
Yeah, I think it's 68.7 or something.
He is more, dude. Haskins is nowhere close to this guy. And Dwayne Haskins didn't even play in a division like. He played for Ohio State, right. but he didn't play the teams that he's playing this year.
Another loaded team in college.
Another loaded team in college. Okay, Clemson's been a loaded team in college for years too. What are you going to say about Trevor Lawrence? They've been a loaded team. They've been a loaded defense, loaded offense, loaded everything.
That's what I said. You can't go by statistics because
you have to go by statistics. Okay, Kyler Murray, has he shown that he's been a good quarterback in this league? Come on.
I think he's okay.
Oh, he's good. He's good. How about what you've seen so far with Tua? Has he made any mistakes that you really throw you off?
It's only 2 games.
All right,
and the first game really wasn't him. It was really the defense.
But that's fine. But
second game,
has he looked bad? Has he looked bad?
I got to see more.
All right. So how about Justin Herbert?
I already told you Herbert was better than Sam back then.
I picked Justin Herbert to be the best quarterback in the class.
Josh
you didn't tell me anything.
I did. When we used to talk off the air, I said Josh Allen and Drew Lock are the 2 guys that I like there on.
When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be talking to North Carolina and A&T power forward recruit Duncan Powell here on Below the Mic.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
As you guys know, this is Below the Mic. Remember, you can call us at 631-965-4990. You can go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. And you can download our app by going to iOS, WWSRN, or Android Worldwide Sports Radio Network. We have our special guest. I'm very happy to have him in the studio. We have Mikey C., my old partner, my business partner for the radio network, and Speedy PD that loves to screw up. I tell you, man. I've had this guy producing my show for 3.5 years. And I still wonder sometimes if his head's not up his ass half the time. But that's just me. I don't know. A lot of people love when I yell at this kid, but I don't like yelling at him. I just want him to do his job. And when we go to break, obviously we don't have our guest. I didn't think we were going to get him on. Hopefully he calls in or somehow he slips right in. But I'd like to get the North Carolina A&T power forward recruit, Duncan Powell, on the show, the Tar Heels power forward recruit. So the Tar Heels, who have been one of the best. And by the way, Matty Caps, I don't know if he's listening to the show. That would be something that he would like to listen to because he's a big Tar Heel fan. And North Carolina Tar Heels have not been very good for the last couple of years. So I'd like to. I had some questions for him. I had some, interesting questions on where he thinks the Tar Heels are going to be with their recruiting class in the next year or so. And being that March Madness was canceled last year, where did they see themselves in the tournament? So that was something that I definitely wanted to ask him. And see where they're going with their coach. The coach is getting older. Maybe thinking about retirement. I mean, who's going to be the next one up to take over the Tar Heels? So that's something that I really wanted to ask him. Williams, right?
Roy Williams.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask him that question, too. But at 7:15, we'll be talking to Miami, Ohio offensive tackle recruit Ryan O'Hara. So he will be on with us. I know you got a hold of him, so I know he's going to come on the show.
Later, yep.
Yeah, well, I know he's coming on. The other guy, I knew he wasn't coming on, and you still wanted to go to break. Anyways, all in all, Mike, what is in the NFL season? What has stood out to you in the first 9 weeks?
How bad it is.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean, the season as a whole?
I think overall. I think because of the pandemic, no fans, no nothing, not really allowed, practice. I mean, besides practice, but I mean, scrimmages, just so much things are affecting it to where, so many injuries, Barkley out, Christian McCaffrey. It's just as a season as a whole because of the situation.
Nick Bosa.
Everything. It's just, I think, records that are like, one division is completely horrible. Other teams are really bad. Nobody expected it to be. Just a ton of injuries make this season horrible.
Would you admit that Saquon Barkley was not a pick that the Giants should have drafted? Would you admit it now?
No, because I still would go by it. It's just that you can't foresee injuries and stuff like that happen.
I told you it was going to happen. He's got big legs.
It's not about that. It's just about Gettleman, I think, didn't properly build an offensive line.
Well, I think he's done a better job this year. I think their offensive line's played better as the week's gone by. Thomas has played a lot better. I mean, in the beginning of the season, he was horrendous.
That's what I'm,
another Flowers.
It took years to do that, but I'm just saying, as a whole, when you draft a running back, the Giants, I would have brought in more veterans and then draft the alignment to replace the veterans, but it didn't go that way. To me, Gettleman's the worst. I've said it. I stick by it. He's horrible just because he made a couple of good choices or decisions
built that defense.
Here and
that
there.
Defense has played well. They've been very good. Mike, in the last 3 weeks, there's only 2 defenses that have played better than the Giants. There's only 2 defenses in the last 3 weeks that have played better than the New York Giants. That's saying a lot about what this defense. This is Dexter Lawrence is a player. Carter looks like a player. Bringing in Leonard Williams, who's still a young player, to the Giants to a 4-3 defense, he's been fabulous. He's right now. If you were to ask me, is Leonard Williams a Pro Bowl player? I would say yes. Leonard Williams is a Pro Bowl player. Bradbury's been good. He brought him in. He's played very well. They've brought in Logan Ryan. He's been very good for the Giants. He brought him in, and he loves the New York Giants. You heard the trainer saved his wife.
Yeah.
So I mean, he loves it. He loves the camaraderie over there with the Giants and the organization. So. There's something. There is a light at the end of the tunnel for the Giants. The problem with the Giants is they have no weapons. They have none. I don't want to hear about their 4th or 5th round draft pick last year who was playing okay. Everybody's trying to compare him to Odell Beckham. He's not Odell Beckham. Who am I talking about? What's the kid's name?
Darius Slayton.
Darius Slayton. Everybody keeps talking about it. They drafted him in the 4th or 5th round a couple of years ago, and they're trying to compare and contrast him to Odell. He's not Odell
I thought he was
Beckham.
a 6th rounder.
I don't know. 5th round. Whatever. 4th, 5th.
Doesn't matter. He's a nice player. He's not Odell.
You should hear what some of these Giant fans think of him. They think he's a superstar.
Listen, there's a lot of people of a lot of fan bases that are just not that bright. So
And Evan Ingram, he's been an absolute bust. He really has been horrendous. I can't believe he dropped the ball against the Eagles. They should have won that game. I think the Giants were absolutely the better team. They're absolutely right now with Dak Prescott not on the Dallas Cowboys. The Giants are the best team in the NFC East. They just are. They've played better than every single one of those teams. They really have. And I'll tell you this right now. If the Giants make the playoffs, that defense is actually really, really good. I think they're going to be able to compete against one of those good teams. I think they can get out of the first round.
Yeah, what's funny, they could play the Buccaneers again.
I know, and I think they can beat the Buccaneers. I'm telling you right now, the Buccaneers are so highly overrated. I've said this over and over again. Tom Brady is not the same Tom Brady he once was. He just isn't. This offensive line has proven in the last 2 weeks to be not that good, okay? I've said this over and over again. They're not a good offensive line. They were one of the worst offensive lines last year, and they're one of the worst offensive lines right now. I mean, in the last couple of weeks, they've been really bad. Throughout the season, I think their offensive line is ranked 20th or 21st.
Something like that.
They're not good, okay? They're just not. And this is a weakness. When you're playing highly profile defenses that can get at the quarterback in the playoffs, especially in the NFC, they're going to have a lot of problems. And Tom Brady, you saw what the Giants did to him. He was slamming his helmet. He was, I don't know, Tom Brady's, in the last 2 weeks, Tom Brady didn't even know where his ass was for his tailbone. I really don't know if Tom Brady, he was upset about last week. He got killed. He threw 3 interceptions. He threw no touchdowns. He had his worst game of his NFL career. Okay, against the Saints, where I thought the Saints were actually going to give that game away because really no team has really won 3 games in one season against a top divisional team. And unfortunately, the only team that's done it in the last couple of years has been the Saints.
Yep, 2017.
So, so the argument is that the Saints can't do it. I think the Saints can do it. Could they get healthy enough to do it? That's going to be the question. You're right. The NFL has not been fun to watch this year. I mean, New York teams have been horrendous, except Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo, I will say that Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network was right. Dave Damashek from the NFL Network was right. They both said that the Buffalo Bills were going to be one of the best teams in the AFC, and they are. I mean, and Josh Allen had his best game of the season last week when his grandmother died. He was fantastic. He outplayed, to me, the MVP of the league, to me, the best player in the league, in Russell Wilson. He outplayed him. And you saw it, statistics, touchdowns to interception ratio. I mean, he was unbelievable. He really was. And I know you like Josh Allen, Mikey. I know.
Well, I told you. You remember? I said I think Drew Lock. I think Josh Allen. And then when I saw the game, because at that one year you were very high on Rosen, and I saw Herbert versus Rosen, and I remember I said to you, I like Herbert better than Rosen. You're like, oh, Rosen's got a strong arm. I don't care. Herbert showed better, even though I think Rosen came back and won the game. It was just what I saw.
Herbert's better than all of them.
I'm just saying.
Herbert, it is better than all of them.
I don't watch college football, and when I did to watch these players, that's what I came away with. Herbert
is better than all of them. He is better than all of them. And I'm telling you right now, I'll say it again. I said in this year's draft class, I said he will be the best quarterback in this class by far. I said it. I wasn't arguing. Everybody thought I was crazy. I said Justin Herbert will be the best player. And a lot of analysts and a lot of guys in the NFL Network said that he was going to be the worst. He is easily the best quarterback in that class. He's the best quarterback in the last 3 years of class.
And I said if he came out, I wouldn't mind if the Giants drafted him, but he didn't come out.
And listen, the LA Chargers made the right decision. Their team is terrible.
Big time.
Their team is terrible, but they got a quarterback that could win a couple MVPs. I think he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's been
with Keenan Allen re-signing and Mike Williams there, that's emerging. with her. Now they just have to build the rest of the team.
The slot kid Guyton has been good this year.
Their offensive line stinks.
Well, they just have to build the rest of the team.
Their offensive line stinks. I don't know what's going on. I could see Joey Bosa getting traded in the offseason.
No.
I've been hearing some crazy. Him and Melvin Ingram have been complaining about the organization. Yeah. And J.J. Watt is another guy that's come out and said that he's not playing for another rebuilding season. So he's gone too. And there'll be teams lining up for J.J. Watt, who has had playing this year. He's had a decent season. I think he's got 5 or 6 sacks. He'll probably have 10 or 11 sacks by the end of the season.
Just eclipsed the 100 for his career, too.
Yeah, I mean, J.J. still has a little bit left in his tank. I still think he can go to Green Bay. He can go to maybe the Jets. They need a pass rusher. I said that the other day. J.J. going for 2 or 3 years to the Jets wouldn't be so bad. I mean, you add him to the other side and maybe draft the guy on the other side. And you're not going to have to overpay J.J. J.J. is going to take $10 or $9 million a year. He's not.
Well, the average is what, 12 to 15 million right now?
Yes, but he is also 31 years old.
Who?
J.J. Watt.
Oh, J.J. Watt.
Yeah, J.J. Watt is 31 years old. So J.J. maybe has 2 more good years left. I could see him getting, 10, 12 million, somewhere around there. And I could see the Jets giving him that. I really do. Maybe give him a 1-year deal with a second-year option if he has a good season. So I don't know. And JJ is a guy that, I don't know if he'd go to the Jets, but the Jets aren't. And I'm going to say this again. And I've said this a lot. When you have that kind of money and you have that kind of draft stock, as much as you kind of call them a rebuilding team, they're not a rebuilding team. They're really not. I mean, if the Jets had like four, you have a first round, a second round, a third round, and a fourth round, and they don't have any money, I would say they're a rebuilding team. They're not going to be good. But when you have that much draft stock that they have this year, and you have next year too, you could trade up for next year. You have 2 first rounds next year. You could say, you know what? I'll give you my first round next year. I'll give you my 2 first rounds next year. I want to move up and bring in the wide receiver I want. Or I want to bring the offensive lineman. I want the offensive lineman. What's his name again? From Oregon State.
Sewell.
Penei Sewell. I want him, and I want Trevor Lawrence. I'll give up my 4 first rounds for those 2 guys. That could change your organization around right there. You have Beckham on one side and you have this guy on the other side. You solidify your right and left tackle for many, many years to come. And they're beasts, both of them. So, and both of them are huge and strong, and you build around Trevor Lawrence that way.
I think Sewell could be better than the tackles in this draft, too. That's how good he is.
I mean, there's a lot of things that the Jets could do, and I don't even think they have to give up that much to move up where they are. I mean, you can give up 2 first rounds. The one that they got from Seattle this year, and maybe a second round that they can overcast from Sam Darnold if they trade Sam Darnold, and a first round next year, and you can move all the way up to a 3rd or a 4th pick. I mean, you could absolutely do that if you're giving up two first rounds and a second for something like that. He's not a quarterback; he's an offensive lineman. So I think that the Jets are in very good shape, where a lot of fans are probably laughing at them and saying, "Oh, they're a disgrace." Yeah, they're a disgrace now. Next year, they might not be. Maybe they will be. I don't have any idea where the Jets are going to be. I mean, look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Did anybody think the Steelers were going to be 8-0 this year? I didn't. Nope. I thought they were a bust. I thought they were going to be one of the worst teams in their division, because I thought the Browns were going to be better this year, and I thought the Baltimore Ravens were going to be a lot better this year with the acquisitions they made in the offseason. And to be honest with you, the Pittsburgh Steelers are the best team in football. As crazy as it may sound. I mean, you bring in Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger hasn't had one of his best statistical years, but he's been a better leader this year. You can see it. And
anything is better than the quarterback play they had last year. It's
not
really saying much.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, football is so interesting this year. I don't know who's going to win. I really don't. But I could see an AFC team winning this year. I think there are better AFC teams than there are NFC teams right now. Go look.
Yeah, the gap has closed a lot.
I think there are better. I think the AFC is more top heavy. I think the NFC has more bottom heavy teams too that can make it and squeak in, and that could be dangerous, like the Rams. Or if you look, I don't know,
Arizona, the Rams will make it if that offensive line holds up, because they have a lot of weapons.
Mm-hmm. The Bears.
And they have a pretty decent. No, the Bears stink.
No, the Bears.
I don't care what they stink.
They don't stink.
No, they stink.
They're 5-4.
They have 5 wins by luck. They stink.
They're a playoff team.
I don't care. The whole freaking NFC stinks.
The NFC does not stink.
Oh my God.
You got Seattle, Arizona, Los Angeles.
Seattle is another team that they have to outscore everybody. But what's their record?
Seattle 6-2.
Ah, There was somebody that I know that made a bet with me that said that Seattle is not making the playoffs this year.
Maybe at the start of the season, but not now. Was it
me?
I think so. I think that was the dummy.
Yeah, at the start of the season. We're not dealing with what it is now.
I did say Seattle wasn't going to make the season.
Yeah, you made me a bet. You don't remember the bet?
No, what was
it?
It
was a steak dinner.
Oh, okay. So I'll take you to steak dinner.
We're going to Insignia, buddy. That was your. You don't remember that?
All right.
I can't believe it. You said. You'll be lucky if Seattle wins because everybody's so much better. I go,
but it's not because of their defense.
I said,
not because of their defense.
You're right. I agree.
You said their defense was going to be better.
No, I didn't say that.
You said their defense was going to be better.
I said
you did.
With less talent, Seattle's made the playoffs, and now they got better talent.
Better talent? Actually, the
only
reason
is not good, but they have better talent.
The only reason why they're making the playoffs is Russell Wilson. Let's be quite honest. They give up 30 points a game. Go look. I think they're. What do they give up right now?
I think it's 32.1 or something.
They give up 30 points a game. They're one of the worst defenses in the league, but they're one of the best offenses in the league. That's why they're making the playoffs. They're not winning. They're not winning with that defense. If they think they're going to win a championship with that defense, they're not winning.
Especially with how horrendous that pass rush
They're
is,
not
too.
winning. I mean, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a better chance of winning than Seattle does because their defense is actually good. The best part of Tampa's the team is their defense. Mm-hmm. Their offense, as good as their offense, structure is, and you see all the offensive players they have, they're overload. It's overload. There's too many good players on the field. You can't get the ball to each guy, and teams are seeing that. All you got to do is here's how you beat them. You take Godwin out. You could beat them. Every team that's taken out Godwin out of the game has beaten the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Go look at Godwin's numbers on the 3 losses they have now?
Yep.
3 losses. How many? Let's go. Speedy, go.
I think the Saints game week 1 he played well, but that's really it. The Bears definitely took him out.
The games that they've lost are games that he couldn't get the ball to Godwin. Mm-hmm. And you can see it. You can see it. And they're not the same team without Godwin. So... And Antonio Brown, yeah, he's a piece. Antonio Brown isn't the old Antonio Brown.
No, he's a cancer.
Yeah, I don't understand why anybody thinks that it's going to make them that much better of a team.
Yeah, his best game this year is 88 yards against the Raiders, who have an abysmal secondary. Mm-hmm. Like I said, they played well. He played well, 6 catches, 79 yards against Tampa week 1, but that was it. Mike Evans got shut down like he usually does by Marshawn Lattimore.
Mike Evans has not been good this year either. You would think that Mike Evans would be his number 1 target. He hasn't been.
Well, I think because Tom Brady spreads the ball around, that's the reason why. And you have too many guys to give the ball to.
I just said that.
No, I understand. Well, and I also told you the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are just like the Cleveland Browns when everybody thought the Cleveland Browns had all that talent. When you have too much talent on paper.
They're better than the Cleveland Browns.
No, I know that because of certain things. But I'm saying my point was when you have too much talent on paper, it never works out.
Well, I
That's
know
my
that,
point.
But I know that.
It just
so you don't have to
seems to
tell
be
me
like that during
I know
history
that.
of sports.
I've said that plenty of times in professional sports. The only time you see that is basketball. That's it. And football, even baseball, all the talent in the world doesn't win you championships.
And Belichick seems to know when to let somebody go.
I will say this. Bill Belichick is going to have a tremendous amount of problems moving forward with that team. That team is so depleted. There's so many weaknesses in that team. Stephon Gilmore is probably going to be gone next year. They have that kid Jackson. He looks good. He's not Gilmore. And you have Devin McCourty. He's probably going to be done. Jason McCourty. Both these guys are older players. They're going to be gone. Chung, even though he missed the season, I think he's going to be done. I mean, this is a depleted team. I mean, where is he going to go? And by the way, all those stock drafts and all that stuff that Bill Belichick has built over the years, some of those picks that we've seen and all the guys that you liked, how about the kid from Michigan that you liked a couple of years ago?
Chase Vinovich.
Vinovich. He hasn't looked good. He has not looked good.
He's their leading sack guy with 2.5 sacks.
He hasn't looked good, Mike.
He doesn't look good because he's their best guy on the defensive line.
There's nobody good on that team. There's nobody good on that defense. A lot of his draft picks in the last couple of years, let's be honest, have not been good. They haven't been good. And you could say whatever you want. Bill Belichick is a genius. He knows how to find guys in the later rounds. Go look at his draft stock the last 2 years. The amount of draft stock he's had, none of them really panned out. Really, none of them.
He's changed his style a lot, too, which is very weird for a team like him with the way he's built for years. And it's hurt him so far in terms of what they've been able to build with these younger players. I don't know if it's the ways of the game, but you're right. They absolutely have not drafted well.
No.
And even some of the positions they normally hit on, too, they haven't hit on either.
It's crazy. And that's like what, Mike, you were saying. This season is going to be so outlandish. It's going to be so crazy. I think you can see a team that you wouldn't expect go all the way to the Super Bowl. I could see that this year. If I'm telling you, if the Giants make the playoffs, and you guys are going to think I'm crazy, I'm not telling you they're going to the Super Bowl.
Not even close.
They'll
be beaten the first round.
I don't think they will. I think there are teams that they can beat. They could beat Tampa. They proved they could beat Tampa. Okay? They could beat Green Bay. Okay? Green Bay got beat. They can. Their defense, that defense could do it. I'm telling you right now, that defense is a lot better than you think they are, Mike. They have played very well. They have played very good. I'm telling you right now, I will take the Giants defense right now probably over 27 teams in the NFL. 27. Right now, what I've seen, this 4-3 defense, first of all, their defensive coordinator is going to be – there are teams that are going to be looking at because that defense has played fabulous. That 4-3 defense, Leonard Williams is completely a different player. Dexter Lawrence looks like he's going to be a star in this league, one of the best nose tackle, defensive tackles in the league. He's played fabulous. 2 years this kid has played. And he plays – they said he was a third down guy. He's played almost 4 downs. This guy plays all the time. The kid Carter from Georgia that they brought in, he looks like a good player.
I think he's injured, isn't he?
Yes,
he is now, but before that, he was playing fantastic.
He was playing fantastic. The other linebacker that they brought in, who was playing great until
Kyler Fackrell.
Fackrell, he played good last year. I mean, they've got good defensive players. This is a good defense. They have Logan on one side, Bradbury on the other. There's no more of this guy pulling out a gun and shooting people, whatever his name is. I mean, this is a good team. This is a good defense. Now, their offense needs to be figured out. I mean, they need wide receivers. They need Saquon Barkley to come back. I don't know if Saquon Barkley will be the same player coming back from an injury like that. He's got a lot of weight on his legs. Tearing your ACL and MCL the way he did, he might not be the same player. You can't trade him on the low. You have to bring him back. But if he plays anywhere close to as well as he did before he got hurt, I would trade Saquon Barkley. I'd get a second or a third round draft pick for him because to me, you're not winning right now. You're not there yet. You're almost there. I think the Giants are 4 players away. I think if they add another pass rusher, they need another pass rusher. I think if they add another offensive lineman on the other side, they have Soldier who missed the whole season, but he might be gone next year. If they bring in
he's back because that's the whole thing about opting out with this pandemic is that you're guaranteed to come back.
All right, so you have Nate Soldier. Maybe you bring in a good guard. You have some money next year. Bring in a guard. Maybe bring in that kid Tui from the New England Patriots. He's going to be available. Maybe bring in another guard to solidify that offensive line. And then you get in maybe an Allen Robinson or you draft a wide receiver or 2 in the draft. The Giants could be a playoff team easy next year. Easy. And a very dangerous team because that Logan Ryan's going to sign another year. Logan Ryan already said, absolutely. He says he loves the Giants organization. Logan Ryan's going to sign another year over there. He loves Joe Judge, loves him. Bradbury's there for 3 years. He's borderline Pro Bowl player this year. He's been unbelievable. I mean, this defense, it solidifies what this team could be moving forward. And they can get with the 4-3 defense. This is not the Giants of the Tom Coughlin era when they played the 3-4. This is a 4-3 defense that will get at you on all different areas. And that Martinez kid, believe it or not, he's been closing up gaps for the Giants, something that the linebacker position has not been good at since Pierce. Yeah. So I think that the Giants are a year away from being a really good team if they maneuver some pieces that they need. I'm telling you, they're 4 players away from being a dangerous team in the NFC. I really do believe that. And Daniel Jones, you can win with Daniel Jones. You can. I just don't know if you have a chance to get Justin Fields and he's sitting there and you getting the 3rd pick. I don't know if you can pass up a talent like that. He is really good. He's really good. He can run. He's accurate. He's got a great arm. He can do everything. And he doesn't fumble the ball. He doesn't fumble the ball. How many times has he dropped the ball this year in the 3 games that he's played? 0. No. How many times has he dropped the ball since he's been in college football? Even going
very little.
That one time. One time. This guy don't fumble. Daniel Jones, everybody knows what Daniel Jones is known for. Fumbling the ball, dropping the ball. That was his weakness. He's dropped the ball tons and tons of times in the NFL.
And he's tripped on his own feet.
and he's done that too. Oh, my God. And by the way, Cam Newton almost cost the Patriots the game on Monday.
Maybe there's something with the turf. Maybe the 49ers are onto something.
Something's going on with that turf because Cam Newton almost tripped on his feet twice in that game. So, anyways, when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be talking to Miami, Ohio offensive tackle recruit Ryan O'Hare here on Below the Mic.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
DJ Speedy. Well, at least he's doing something right. I love it. I'm messing with you. I love it. Anyways, this is Below the Mic. We are live every single Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. New York Eastern Time. You can call us at 631-965-4990. If you don't want to dance to Speedy's music, well, then don't. You can go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. And download our app on iOS, WWSRN, or Android, Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Well, we finally have a guest. Listen, Speedy, we've been trying, and we finally are getting some recruits on the show. Recruit guys. How's that sound? We've interviewed a lot of recruits, and we have one right now on the phone. We are now talking to Miami, Ohio offensive tackle recruit Ryan O'Hare. Mr. Ryan, what's going on, my friend?
Nothing much. Guys, thanks for having me on the show. It means a lot.
Well, it means a lot to me, too, man. I mean, do you like to dance?
I do like to dance.
Really? So let me get this straight. An offensive lineman that likes to dance. I mean, we've interviewed some of the top offensive linemen in the nation, and a lot of them just tell me they either have twinkle toes or they just can't dance. So you can dance.
Yeah, you can ask some guys in my locker room. I'm always down to boogie or down to whatever's playing on the loudspeakers. I'm always getting down to. So, yeah, big guys can dance too.
Oh, yeah? You can wobble? I want to see you wobble, man. I
don't know about that, but.
Anyways, we are talking to Miami, Ohio offensive tackle recruit Ryan O'Hare. So, Ryan, how are you and your family doing with this pandemic? That's question one. Number two is, being with this pandemic or dealing with this pandemic and what's going on right now, how has been the recruiting situation been? I mean, being that you've been on Zoom, interviewing with all these coaches, has it been easy or hard doing that when you usually go to the school, you sit down with the coaches, or the coaches come to you and they sit down in your living room and tell you how wonderful the school is? So tell us a little bit about that as well.
Yeah, so me and my family, we've been doing pretty good throughout the whole pandemic, as good as we can be, at least. We always try to put things in perspective, and we're always blessed to have the things that we do, and that my parents both have their jobs still, and that I was able to go out and play football in PA this year, and, obviously get locked into a school that I'm really in love with. As far as the recruiting process goes, I, along with any other recruit, will tell you this was it was the hardest few months of my life. Obviously, I don't know if you've seen anything about my story, but, I wasn't a starter on varsity as a junior, and then I had a chip on my shoulder all winter, and I was doing really good in the off season, and then, coronavirus came in, but it didn't stop me. I moved my workouts to outside once all the gyms got closed down, and I had a really good off season, and I gained 70 pounds. I got up to 6'8", 290, and I had a really good senior year. So as far as recruiting goes, yeah, just a lot of phone calls, a lot of text messages, a lot of graphics. It stinks because I know what I'm missing out on, but I'm also just blessed that I'm getting recruited by these very prestigious schools. So, all this has been very, very nice.
Well, let me ask you this question. First of all, you're 6'8". What are you guys like? Where are you from? Are you from a beanstalk or something? I mean, half of you guys, man, all you offensive linemen that they're 6'7", 6'8". I mean, we saw Mekhi Beckham. He gets drafted by the Jets. He's 6'8", 365 pounds,
and still going,
and still growing. You're 6'8". I mean, I didn't think we were going to see a big man come out of the draft as big as Mekhi Beckham for a very, very long time. Now we've interviewed like 7 or 8 offensive linemen, top linemen that are 6'7", 6'8". They're unbelievably huge. What is it with you guys? Are you eating a lot of your greens? I have no idea. How you guys are huge.
Yeah, as far as the height goes, that was just God-given. But as far as the weight, you got to work for it, and especially my body type, I'm kind of tall and I'm bulky, not necessarily any fat. So you really have to make sure you're eating the right things, and you don't always have to eat the right things. As long as you're working out and you're balancing, you're working out with the amount of calories you're taking in every day, you should be fine. That's what I experienced. I was eating 6,000 calories a day every day during the off season, but I was in the gym just as much as I was eating. So once you balance your sleeping and your eating and your lifting, that's when you get up to 290.
You got to help my producer out, man. He's 150 pounds soaking wet. I mean, he's a skinny, little scrawny guy with a mustache. He looks like Freddie Mercury, a skinny version of Freddie Mercury right now.
That's supposed to be a bad thing?
I don't know, man. I mean,
Freddie Mercury's a legend.
Well, he's a legend, but you're not.
I didn't say I was. So you're actually entering a conference in the MAC that is very unique, where they play their games in the middle of the week. It's not a Saturday college football game or even a Friday night where you see a lot of these conferences play. They play a lot of their games Tuesday and Wednesday. There probably are some games going on right now as we speak in that conference. So do you think that's going to be a big adjustment for you, having to the transition from high school football into a conference like that, or is it something that maybe that we've seen in maybe your state with high school too?
Yeah, I've always played on Friday nights, Friday night football. You're going to love it. But, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference other than maybe the first time it'll be a little weird because it's a weekday. But after that, I mean, you get 7 days to prepare. Maybe not this year because I know that Miami had a short week this week, probably due to the fact that the MAC was getting a little late start. But on most years, I'm almost positive, they get a full week just like every other team does. So, it doesn't – I mean, we play Fridays and you get 7 days and you come back and you – playing the next Friday. So, I mean, Tuesdays or Thursdays or Wednesdays, we'll be ready to go.
As you guys know, we are talking to Miami, Ohio offensive tackle recruit Ryan O'Hara. Mike, do you have any questions? No, Mike doesn't have any question for you, but I got a lot of them. So when you look at the position as an offensive tackle, and we look at the offensive tackle position in the NFL to be a very important position, the left tackle being the blind side for the quarterback and the right tackle being the other side for the quarterback. Do you see yourself as an NFL talent, or is that your plan after college, or you're not even looking forward to the future in that way? You just want to make this team and play hard for this team and see where you go with Miami, Ohio?
Yeah, I'm just staying where my feet are. Obviously, I haven't even signed yet, so the next step's signing day, and then step after that's get on campus and get to work with Coach Martin and Coach Barnett. I'm obviously looking forward to the next 4 years, but I've been told to take one step at a time, and that's just what I'm doing right now. So I'm looking forward to my freshman year at Miami. And then after that, I can start looking at NFL prospect this, prospect that. But, like you said, it's a very long way away, and no one can really predict.
I could predict it. I could predict it for you. You're 6'8", 293 pounds. You're 17 years old, okay? You're a baby, okay? So you haven't even fit in your man body, okay? You're going to gain about 20 pounds, maybe 25 pounds playing college football. You're playing with bigger, stronger guys. You're if you play as hard as you do in high school, you're a 3-star recruit. And I don't care what they say. You could be a 3-star, 4-star, 5-star recruit. We've seen it over and over again. We actually interviewed a tight end last week from Florida State that told me he's seen no-star recruits better than 5-star recruits. Yep. So it doesn't matter what star recruit is. So right. You being as big as you are, you absolutely have the opportunity to play in the NFL. I absolutely believe with your size, you can make an NFL team. It doesn't matter what round you're drafted in. We've seen great offensive linemen get drafted in the 5th, 6th, 7th round and become very important offensive linemen to an organization for 10 to 12 years. So you can do it. So when you look at the game, is there any position that you have played besides the offensive line?
Yeah, it's funny you asked that. I was trying to go as a tight end over the winter, and I actually tried out for a 7-on-7 team in Pittsburgh called Pittsburgh Evolve, and I made it. And, my coaches, they wanted me to be tackle, and I was skinny. I was 6'6", 240, and they were like, Ryan, we need you to play tackle. And I was like, oh, man, I really want to try this tight end thing out. So I went out and I did it, even though they didn't really want me to. And, unfortunately, I didn't get to play any games for that 7-on-7 program due to COVID shutting everything down. But that right after that's about when I started putting on all the weight. And I bought into what my coaches were telling me. And then, obviously I started getting more college looks, and I just kept it going. And now all of a sudden, I don't know where the tight end went. I'm 6'8", 290. I can't run now.
Well, we've seen Gronkowski.
Do you know what you think you possibly run in a 40? Like, do you have an idea or no, not really?
No, I mean, I haven't run it in a long time. Probably somewhere around 5, I'd assume.
Wow.
That's not bad. That's pretty good.
If you can run it in Mekhi Beckham, he ran it in almost 5 seconds flat, and he's 6'8", 365 pounds. And I heard through the grapevine, he was running it at 4'8". That's what he was running it in.
I saw that.
Yeah, that was the rumor. He can run. He's got unbelievable hands. He's big. He's strong. You guys I don't know what the hell are you guys eating? I mean, seriously, you guys are huge. I mean, I stood right by Muhammad Wilkerson 4 or 5 years ago. I'm like, holy crap. I'm looking up. I'm like, this guy's at Amazon. And now, and you guys are like 4 or 5 inches bigger than him and twice the size of him. So it's unbelievable. It really is the size and the ability you guys have.
So you're mentioning Pittsburgh. They have a very strong sports culture, one of the best small market sports cultures in the entire country. So what was it like? What is it like in terms of the culture, if you've had any experiences with them? And also Pennsylvania high school football. What were some of those experiences like? Because they got a pretty big following, one of the biggest followings among northern states, too. Everyone talks about the South all the time, but they have a very strong following. So what were some of those like?
Yeah, growing up in Pittsburgh, the sports culture is just unmatched. I mean, the only other city I could think of that's anywhere close is probably Boston, and maybe New York as well. But yeah, Pittsburgh sports. I mean, even the Pirates, they're not very good, but I mean, everyone will show up to the games. They'll support them until they,
I think they're fair weather fans,
like they did this year. But yeah, I mean, everyone's very supportive of the sports. You see black and gold every Thursday at school, and then your school colors on Friday to support the football team. And that's going right into PA football. I was talking about this with my dad earlier, actually. I think that PA football is one of the most underrated states for football. I mean, I don't know if that's just a coverage thing, or I personally think it's because you see a lot of the 4- and 5-star guys coming out of Texas, Alabama,
I agree with you. No. I really do believe Pittsburgh has. Look at all the great Hall of Famers that came out of Pittsburgh.
Absolutely. Yeah, you wouldn't even realize how good PA football is until you come and watch a game or you play in one. And I don't know if you guys know anything about the Whitfield, but we moved up from 4A to 5A. My school did, and from 4A to 5A is like incredible. It's just like it's like you're playing Division I football. It's there's a lot of Division I football guys in 5A, and there's a lot of Division I football guys across the state of PA. I know last year Julian Fleming was the number 1 recruit in the country, so I believe PA football is as good as any other state in the country.
Very, very interesting. It's crazy. It really is, because I've watched a lot. I grew up. I've watched a lot of high school, college football. I mean, high school football with Darrelle Revis, Curtis Martin came from Pittsburgh. There was a lot of great football players that have come from there. Le'Veon Bell is from Pittsburgh. There's some good players that have come from Pittsburgh and become very, very talented
Larry
players.
Fitzgerald went to Pitt.
Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, there are just so many talented players.
Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald, yeah. I forgot about him, too. I mean, beastly. And these guys are Hall of Famers, top-end players. So what we're going to do, we do this all the time with recruits, and I'm sure Jillian told you, we ask you some outlandish questions. We're going to ask you 3 outlandish questions, and then we're going to let you ask us whatever you want. Any question you want, and we'll answer it.
You can even ask Mikey C.
Mikey C, he does a lot of weird things.
Be very careful.
All right, so first question I'm going to ask you, I ask you all the recruits. Boxers or briefs, and why?
Oh, I'm just a Tommy John guy. It's just comfortable. I don't know. It's just that. I mean, there's not much to it. Just Tommy John underwear, the best around.
Tommy John. What is Tommy John? Is that boxers or just boxer briefs?
Boxer briefs.
All right, because you like them tight. You want your
right. Yes.
Your 2 friends to be secure over there when you're an offensive lineman, right? So I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, I seriously. I make a joke because I'm 38 years old, and I played a lot of sports growing up. I was a big-time hockey player. And the jock straps that we had when we were kids, you really didn't want to wear any underwear because they would crink up your butt. You know what I mean? So you would wear the jock strap, the cup, without any underwear under you. So your butt is sticking right out when you're putting on your pads and stuff like that. So it's not like it used to be. Now they make boxer briefs where you could stick the cup in your boxer briefs. So it's actually cool. It's definitely a lot better and a lot more advanced than when I was a kid. So there you go. All right, second question. Favorite snack to eat before a game and why?
I eat Haribo gummy bears before every game, and that's because my trainer actually suggested it to me during off-season workouts. He said it's something that's not too major, but it's also just enough to get you that right energy before the game at halftime. So, my teammates are always like looking at me all weird when I'm eating gummy bears before a big game and I'm going against a 4-star Pitt commit. And they're like, what are you doing, Ryan? I'm like, I'm eating some gummy bears, man. So.
Just don't eat a hot dog on the sideline like Mark Sanchez, okay? Please don't do that.
Whatever you do, just don't eat Chipotle or Moe's before the game. That's the only
Well, I heard one of the recruits that we talked to, he said he eats, what do you eat?
Taco
wings?
Bell.
And he eats wings.
There was one that said Taco Bell, too, yeah.
Horrible decision.
I tell you right now, maybe it's a good decision because if you're a defensive lineman, you scare away the offensive lineman. And if you're an offensive lineman, you scare the defensive lineman away.
Maybe.
And if you're a receiver, maybe you get a pass interference drawn on
And if you're a center, you're going to scare the hell out of the quarterback. That's for sure.
Right.
Even if they're in shotgun.
All right, last question. Blondes or brunettes, and why?
I'd probably go brunettes. I don't know. I don't really have a specific reasoning for that. I guess it's just kind of like whatever your cup of tea is. So I'd probably go for a brunette before I went for a blonde. I don't know. Does dumb blondes hold true? I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't.
Yes, to a degree.
Yeah, right. It depends the blonde.
To a degree.
Well, what is your grade point average? So at least you're smart from the dumb blondes.
My GPA is about a 3.12. I'm trying to graduate with about a 3.25.
All right, so that's not bad. I mean, we've interviewed some guys that are 4.8.
Oh, yeah.
4.7. Quarterback, what's his name again, from Duke? He's
Riley Leonard.
Was it?
Yeah.
I think he said he had a 4.7 or 4.8 grade point average. I was like, what the heck? I mean, like, what are you like? He says, I'm in all honors classes. Well, that's why you're the quarterback. That's for sure. Oh man! All right, man. Ask away. Whatever questions you have. Go ahead.
I was listening to your show. For the last hour and a half, I guess, since you guys started tonight. But I heard you guys talking a lot about the Jets. Obviously,
shit
you guys
franchise.
Are up at Long Island. I thought I'd just ask a Jets-related question. Do you guys think they're going to win a game, and what game do you think they could win?
No, if I was running the Jets organization, which I'm not, but if I was, I would make sure. And I think what Joe Douglas has done is pretty much give you and reassure you that we're going to give away all the captain pieces that we have to give us the best chance to lose. Do I think they're going to win a game? The best chance they had to win was against the Patriots. I do believe that if the Patriots are out at the end of the season, I could see the Patriots sitting some players where the Jets will have a chance to win. I don't see the Jets beating anybody but the Patriots if they have a chance. There's nobody on their schedule that all of them are fighting for a playoff spot, including the Patriots.
Right.
So, no, I don't think the Jets are going to win. I think this will be the first time the New York Jets have gone with an 0-16 season, and I think the Jets will get the number one pick. The question is, are they going to draft Trevor Lawrence? And I do believe he's coming out of the draft. I don't see him. Let me ask you this question, and this is an honest question. You played 3 years of college football. You've been one of the best players in college football. And you have an opportunity to make, $48 million on a rookie contract, and not putting yourself in harm's way or in risk of hurting your knee or hurting your leg or something like that, like Josh Rosen, where you might not be drafted in a top 5 or top 10. Would you come out of the draft this year, even if it was the Jets, or you wouldn't?
Well,
I was listening to you guys talk about this earlier, and my opinion is that I would go if I was Trevor right now because, obviously we don't know if the whole COVID thing's going to be around next year, but even regardless of COVID, because obviously he just missed a game due to COVID, 2 of them. But if he were to get hurt as a senior and he came back when he really didn't need to and he was going to be the number 1 pick as a junior, it's kind of a dumb move on his behalf if he were to come back.
I agree. You can't. You can't.
You guys were saying earlier, even if he came
No, I would
back,
avoid that Jets franchise at all costs.
There are so. Hold on.
I
one
would
second.
go back.
Hold on 1 second, Ryan.
And sit out the whole year.
Ryan, this
You're
is
still going to be the number one pick.
Yeah, you'll be a number one pick to another bad organization.
Yeah,
Oh, you
exactly.
go to the Lions. Okay, you go burn in hell with the Lions like Matthew Stafford. Yeah, that's a smart idea, Mike.
I think it is.
Yeah, okay, whatever. The Jets have been a better organization than the Lions have, and the Browns. You would rather go to those teams than the Jets? Come on. I'm sorry. You just hate the Jets.
I just think they're cursed.
You're cursed. You're cursed. You wear that Giant shirt.
They're ruining Sam Darnold. They're going to ruin Trevor Lawrence.
Whatever it is. That rests my case with him.
I feel bad for the kid.
I feel bad for you. How's that?
I feel bad for Sam Darnold right now.
I feel bad for you. Maybe you need to go and eat more Oreos or something. I don't know. Go ahead. Next question, Ryan. Hit away, Ryan. Ask away.
Ryan, you okay?
Yeah, I'm
This
still here.
happens a lot. So when I'm on,
I was getting a little scared. You guys were going to start a fist fight.
No.
If you actually listen to our show for years, we've
done this for years.
Yeah. We
He's a little delusional. I'm reality.
Delusional? This guy? Hey, I can tell you some delusional things he said. Okay, this guy's out of his mind. You want to talk about delusional, Mister? I'm 90% always right.
Correct.
Yeah, get out of here. What drugs are you on? I mean, whatever he is, man, if you're going to college, go out and hang out with him because maybe he'll get you some good stuff because he's on good stuff if he actually thinks he's 90% always right.
Correct.
I mean, you're on drugs. Anyways, next question, my friend.
Yeah, I think I have two more questions. I'm going to ask one more NFL-related question, and then I'm going to ask one recruit-related question. So my last NFL question would be, where do you think the Steelers are going to finish as far as the regular season record goes? And what do you think they're going to do in the playoffs?
So I could see them, I think, losing to the Ravens week 12, and then Buffalo. Buffalo is really the only other tough game because you're probably asking that as a Steelers fan. You know all the time that Pittsburgh can win in Baltimore and vice versa. We've seen it a lot. So that's the one. And Buffalo, I think, is another one that could be tough, but their defense hasn't played as well. But if they get it going later in the season, they definitely can. Beyond that, I don't really see them losing anywhere else because the rest of their schedule is very easy. They own Cleveland, so I can't see them losing to Cleveland either.
Well, and also, I do not want to go. If you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, you do not want to see the Pittsburgh Steelers go into the playoffs undefeated. How many undefeated teams have been successful? Miami, they're the only ones. And you saw what happened to the Patriots in 2007 when they went undefeated, going all the way to the Super Bowl and losing against a Giant team. So one big loss.
Right, even teams just streaking in the playoffs in general. It's not always the best formula because sometimes you're due to lose. So even just getting some losses to just reset your mindset is a good thing too. You just can't have games like they did against the Cowboys where they almost lost, that Mike Tomlin plays down to teams all the time. I'm sure you've seen that a lot too, which is really his one flaw as a coach.
14-2. That's where I see the Pittsburgh Steelers. They will be the number one seed in the AFC. They're going to have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. I'll tell you this, and I know you if you've been listening to the show for the last hour, and I'm happy that you are because I love to have a new fan and all that other stuff. But I will say this about the Pittsburgh Steelers. I picked the Pittsburgh Steelers to be a bust this year. I did not think they were going to be that good. Ben Roethlisberger coming back from a shoulder injury like that. This is a guy that's 38 years old. They have so many weaknesses on the defensive side of the ball, I thought. But their defense has been a lot better than I thought. Micah Fitzpatrick is one of the best safeties in the league. Their secondary has played. Their rookies have played very well. Their linebackers are some of the best in the league. And by the way, their front seven is as good as any team in football. So the side of the ball where I thought they were going to be really bad they've really transitioned. Mike Tomlin's having one of his best coaching years. Mike Tomlin, to me, is one of the top guys. What I'd say would be Coach of the Year. Mike, any thoughts to that?
Well, I mean, Steelers came out of nowhere, like you said, because they weren't predicted to do as well. The thing is, how far are they going to go? They'll be eliminated in the playoffs. I don't think they're Super Bowl bound, and it's all predicated on Ben Roethlisberger's health because I believe he's a little dinged up. And obviously, he's the only quarterback on that roster when you have a bunch of great receivers and a pretty good running game. So it's all predicated on the offense. The defense, we already know. We just mentioned it. It's solid. But I don't think anybody, I think it's still the Kansas City Chiefs, division to lose.
I disagree. I think Kansas City is going to get knocked out by a surprise team. I really do. Kansas City won their championship last year. They're not.
I don't think anybody can outscore them. That's the difference.
Their defense isn't good.
You're right. I don't think no team can outscore the Kansas City Chiefs.
We saw the Chargers, the bad Chargers, almost outscore them. You have a young quarterback. The Raiders outscored them. Teams that you wouldn't expect to outscore them. And I'll tell you this right now: as good as Kansas City's offense is, we have seen Mahomes. We've seen Mahomes this year in certain games not play well. Force the ball.
Not
force
play
the
well
ball
in the first half, but went on fire in the second.
Yeah, but he forces the ball in different places, and and everybody knows in the playoffs it's completely different. If you fall behind in the playoffs by 14 going into the second half, it's not going to be like San Francisco in the Super Bowl with the crazy play calling of Kyle Shanahan.
But also because they lack on defense, they can control the clock on offense.
Yeah, I still think Le'Veon Bell is.
And all you need is a couple of stops here and there in the back end, and the game's over. I mean, they could score in 10 seconds and they can score in 12 minutes.
Mark my words, Kansas City don't go to the Super Bowl this year in the AFC. I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender this year. I think Tennessee, beware of Tennessee.
Yeah.
They're a very scary team.
And they're very good in close games.
And they can run the ball, and they can control the clock. So they're another team that can come out of nowhere. Ryan Tannehill, who would have thought that, Ryan? Who would have thought that?
Yeah, Ryan Tannehill's been really good this year, and I actually have him on my fantasy team, so he's been doing me some good. So.
Well, there you go. You should be dancing right now as we speak.
What's your record in fantasy right now?
My record's actually not that good because I don't know what happened, but my opponent scored 180 points this week.
Wow.
So, yeah, that was not fun. But, yeah, I have Deshaun Watson and Ryan Tannehill, so I've been doing pretty good in the quarterback department. And I have Derrick Henry at running back, so that's that's always good.
Yeah.
But for my last question, I think I have to start by asking, do you guys follow a particular college team? Like, are you guys like Rutgers fans or something?
I don't have one team. I like one in like each conference really. But I try to watch not just the Power 5 conferences either. I try to watch some of the smaller conferences as well, especially with the way the Sun Belt has played this year. They've been tremendous in terms of a lot of the teams that they've had pulling off upsets this year.
Well, Ryan, if you watch this show, and I want you to download our app before we get off the phone with you. If you watch this show, everybody and their mother knows I'm a Florida State fan. I have grown up a Seminoles fan. In the 90s, that was when they were good, when they played the U and they dominated. It was either them or the U winning the national title. I grew up a Florida State fan. When Jameis Winston won the national title, I did not think Jameis Winston was going to be a good quarterback in the league. By the way, everybody knows I did not think Jameis Winston. He has a better chance of stealing more crab legs than he does throwing footballs in a Super Bowl. So I'm a Seminoles fan, but I follow Clemson. I like Dabo Swinney. I think he's one of the best coaches in the nation. I really like his personality. I would play for him. And I just like certain teams. I like to watch the top SEC teams play because they're always fun to watch. So I would say I'm a Seminoles. Mike, you are a college fan?
No,
he's not.
No.
Well, that's a shame. He's a fake Patriot fan. So there you go, Ryan.
I wore this for you.
No, thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
It was either
Much
this
love.
or my Celtics, so you take the choice. So I figured since the Jets just lost, I'll wear this one.
Well, thanks. Okay. Ryan, tell the fans how they can find you on social media, bud.
So on Twitter, it's just at Ryan_O'Hare, and same thing for Instagram. And those are the two main social media accounts I use.
So you do Instagram? So you take a lot of lomies and post them up?
No. I only have a few posts, and they're probably mostly football related. So I mean, I retweeted, or I'm not retweeted, but I reposted on Instagram this interview actually. So hopefully some people tuned in.
Oh yeah. Well, let me ask you a question. Are you following us on our app?
I don't think I'm following you on the app just yet, but I'll make sure to do that.
I will send it. I'll have Speedy send it to you by text message and a teacher. What do you have? You have an iPhone or an Android?
Yeah, I have an iPhone 11.
All right, so Speedy will. It's all you got to do is go into your application store and put in WWSRN, and we would love to have you as a fan. We'd love to get you on again when the season starts next year. We're going to follow you. We love all the recruits that we interview. We wish you all the luck in the world. If you're willing to come back on a show, we definitely want to interview again and see how Miami is doing over there. And really your growth as a player, and see where you see your team maybe in the future winning a national title.
Maybe if the Steelers in the Super Bowl too, we get them on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me on again. It means a lot. You guys have a good one.
You too.
Thanks, you too. Best of luck.
Ryan O'Hare, ladies and gentlemen. Miami, Ohio's offensive tackle recruit. Big kid, nice kid, smart kid, and let's hope soon to be NFL player. I believe that. We're not going to go to a break. Mikey, I want to get into some baseball, and we will talk a little bit about the draft next week for the NBA. What did you like about what Steve Cohen said yesterday for the New York Mets?
I mean, he said the right things.
Marcus Stroman signed the extension.
I know. I'm so pissed.
He sucks. Well, but he's still a player. He actually believes what Cohen is doing. He thinks that they could be.
No, he just took it because he wasn't going to get $19 million in the open market because of the pandemic and everything like that. You know, same thing with Kevin Gausman. I think he signed his arbitration, arbitration as well. So he's getting $18 million when he's not even that good either for the Giants. It is what it is. Like I said, it's a whole different time right now because of the pandemic. But Stroman stinks. He's all talk. He needs to shut up. He needs to learn how to be a better athlete, pitcher, whatever the case is. But I'm sorry, it's just not going to work. In his whole entire career, he had one good season and a half a season.
I think he's going to have a great season this year.
Guy stinks. No,
I think he's going to have a great season.
The National League ripped him up. No, he's hard.
I think he's going to have a great season.
I actually hope he gets traded, but I know no team's going to take on $18 million or $19 million.
Well, that's not necessarily at the trade deadline.
I mean, he might be able to sell him on a high if he does somehow pitch well.
I hope. I mean, I can't stand him. He talks too much on Twitter.
But that's not the question. What did you like about Steve Cohen? What he said?
Well, what I was getting to was I think it was scripted because it seemed like he was reading off like a prompter or something like that.
He wasn't. No.
It seemed like it because he kept going close, forward, up, back.
Well, that's because he can't sit straight. He's what are they? ADD or something?
ADHD?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I mean, he said all the right things. What do you want to say as an owner? All the right things. I mean, I want to ask you a question. Has anybody ever said the wrong thing? No.
Yeah, the Wilpons.
They never said the wrong thing. They always said the thing, that
the wrong thing all the time.
Appeases,
they said what they believe, which was the wrong thing.
I mean, he could say whatever he wants. I mean, the move was needed. The change was needed. Madoff killed the Wilpons. No, don't get me wrong. Wilpons always spent pre-Madoff. It's after post Madoff. They never spent, which is, whatever the case may be. But the Wilpons just always made poor decisions. Mm-hmm. And hopefully that Steve Cohen makes the right decisions moving forward. And now we got an owner that's willing to do what the fans wanted in being a big market. And, now having money doesn't mean to go out and get everybody because that's the wrong decision. It's getting the right pieces. It's, it's with all sports. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It's getting the right players to your team.
And I think that he can. He's got the money. He's got the backing. He's got everything. He's something that the Wilpons don't have. And by the way, he's the richest owner in professional sports right now. He is. He's the richest owner in professional sports. It is crazy. And when you have that money behind you and what he has done as a hedge fund guy, analytic, I know some people that know him say the guy is a genius. He comes from nothing. He doesn't come from a wealthy family. He's born and raised here in Long Island, comes from not a very happening family that didn't have a lot of money. He was raised not poor, but he was a middle class family, and he made his riches. He designed the different hedge funds that he did, and he's built his millions into billions. So a fantastic story for the New York Mets, and I think Met fans should be very excited. I mean, having a guy like this, a guy that understands baseball. He grew up a baseball fan. He grew up a Met fan.
Right?
Yeah, so being that he is a Met fan, he wants the bets. He already said that he thinks it's an utter failure if the Mets don't win a championship in the next 3 or 4 years. So, and you know what that means. He's going to open up his pockets. He's going to create an analytic team, something that the Mets have not done over the years, building an analytic section like the Yankees have. They're going, and they
I also think that the Mets are going to be more involved in international scouting.
Well, that's why Oman Minaya is still a part of the organization.
No, he's not. He got fired.
Did he?
No, he's gone.
He's gone.
Oh, he got fired?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, everybody's gone. Thank God.
I thought Cohen was going to keep him. Him and Oman Minaya are friends.
Right, but I think what it was, it was Sandy's choice. It wasn't Steve Cohen's. It was Sandy's choice to pretty much get rid of everybody. And I'm not going to lie.
Oman Minaya's done a good job.
He has, but I mean, how long can you keep somebody in an organization that doesn't have. He didn't have the wherewithal like he did in the
And
past.
Sandy does?
Well, now he does. No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying like, Omar Minaya
What
was
does he
very.
want?
Omar Minaya was very good in the organization when he was building up and slowly becoming the GM.
Theo
Now that
Epstein.
he's- now
Theo
that-
Epstein?
What about him?
You go after Theo Epstein? They're going to bring in a GM. You go after Theo Epstein. A
Why,
lot
he's
of people.
leaving Chicago?
I've been hearing that.
No, I hear it's going to be like other players, like some guys that are like Sandy disciples, or
Paul, what's his name again from the Browns?
The Browns?
The guy from the Oakland A's. He came from the Oakland.
Billy Bean.
No, you're an idiot, Paul. The guy Paul.
I don't know.
He went to the Browns because he's an analytic guy.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Well, that's analytics. We're talking about GM.
This guy is a genius. He was a
but
Diaz
analytics is
Pizzito or
completely
something like
different
that.
than being a GM.
No, I'm telling you, this guy. Everybody thought that he was going to be a good GM.
Yep. This guy, Paul DePodesta?
DePodesta.
Wow, I forgot about that.
Paul DePodesta.
The football team hiring a baseball guy. But only the Browns.
He built only the Browns. He built the Browns team. He's been with the Browns for 3 years. Look how good the Browns have been. DePodesta. He's been a part of the Browns
I heard
organization.
Chernoff's son might be a consideration
Oh,
for GM.
terrible move. Terrible move.
I mean, but I don't think
terrible move.
So.
You do not want
I don't know. I'm not. I haven't heard any solid names.
I would bring
anything.
Paul DePodesta.
Nah, I
in.
wouldn't.
I would. The guy is he's an analytic freak. The guy knows how to. And look what he did for the Browns. Look what he did for he was the mastermind of the A's. Believe it or not, ask anybody. It wasn't Sandy Alderson. It wasn't any of those guys. It was Paul DePodesta or whatever. DePodesta. I can't pronounce his name, but
you'll get it eventually.
Yeah, but he is the guy, and I wouldn't be surprised if they bring him in. That's Sandy's guy. That is definitely Sandy's guy, and you see what he's done with the Browns. He fits the mold of what the Mets are looking for. But again, Theo Epstein is the shining coin. I also heard Brian Cashman. Brian Cashman's name has been wiggled around, or in the last before this all happened. Brian Cashman's name got brought up.
I don't see that happening.
Well, it's up to the Yankees. If he wants to stay with the Yankees, which I think he's going to stay with the Yankees, but the Yankees are the best organization in professional sports. Why would he leave an organization where he has a chance to win every single year to go to a team that hasn't won since 1986?
I've heard like a couple of assistant GMs that are on winning organizations right now is being considered, but a lot more of Sandy putting together maybe people that he trusted from his Oakland A's days and stuff like that. I don't know.
How about the NBA draft next week? I've been hearing LaMelo Ball might fall now. I mean,
don't care.
But I'm asking you. I mean, there's a lot of players in this year's draft where everybody says it doesn't have a deep. Whenever they say there's no deep draft, there's not a deep draft. It always becomes a deep draft. So it's top. They say it's very. It's not deep. It's very top heavy, and they're saying the top 5, top 6 picks are probably the best picks. So, do you see LaMelo Ball falling? I mean, you're
past what?
4,
maybe, not past 6.
I don't think I've been hearing that if the Charlotte Hornets they have the 3rd pick.
Yep.
They would not draft LaMelo Ball.
I wouldn't either.
Why? He's the best all around talent in his draft.
You know what it is?
I think that he would fit very well with the Knicks. And I've been hearing.
I don't know if you would want that either.
Yeah, his father said that he wants to.
No. I'm saying as a Knick fan, I don't know if I would want him to be a Knick, regardless of talent. Dealing with that whole family, I don't know if I want that. I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, if I'm the Knicks, I'd rather go get a veteran point guard or somebody who's been in the league. I'm not drafting one, especially when today. There was I don't think there was college basketball. There was no March Madness. There was nothing.
No.
So I understand he played overseas. I understand the talent. But I think his personality, where he comes from, the way the Knicks are, and I don't see it as a good fit. If I'm the Knicks.
He's a wing shooter. He could shoot and he could defend the wing. That's something that the Knicks have been lacking.
If I'm the Knicks, I go after a free agent for point guard and then build.
They're drafting a point guard no matter what in this draft. It's very point guard heavy, this draft.
Everything I've been reading is Halliburton. Is that the kid?
Tyrese Halliburton. He's from Iowa State. He's a nice player. He's coming off an injury though, so he might fall.
That's why he might fall. Right?
Yeah.
I have been hearing that, But honestly, if I'm the Knicks, I'd sign Van Fleet out of Toronto.
I tell you, you're gonna have to overpay him.
You're gonna have to overpay every. The NBA is overpaid anyway. Every player in the NBA is overpaid. There's nobody you can sit there and say, "Oh shit, that's a good value." No, every player is overpaid because nobody should be making that much money dribbling a goddamn ball, shooting a puck. It's ridiculous for the love of the sport. But every player is overpaid.
I think baseball,
and especially in basketball, when you sneeze on somebody and it's a foul, it's pathetic.
Well,
I can't even watch the shit anymore. It's so bad.
All right, Jeff, what's going on, my friend?
How are you, Errol?
I'm good, man.
Hello to Mikey. Sorry, Mikey, we're not having many Victory Mondays this year.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. I'm not here on Mondays anyway.
Yeah, well, that's a shame. Oh, well.
So, with Steve Cohen buying the Mets, are the Yankees going to get, like, owner envy now?
No.
That the Mets will be spending money and the Yankees will still be doing stupid things?
No, they don't need to. The way the Yankees operate is the way they've been operating. When they want somebody, they'll go above and beyond to get them. Plain and simple. That's it. If they, right now the Yankees got to deal with what they have in their system, and I always
they have
said,
a good system.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like so, and I've said this from the very beginning. Hal is completely different than his father. He's more money conscious on certain things. And
he overpaid for Garrett Cole.
No. I know that, but I also
I said he was.
I said whoever they target, they get. But the bottom line is that with what they have and who they have to come paying up shortly or soon, they're more money conscious. George didn't care what he would spend. I think Hal does.
Well, it all depends. I agree. I think the Yankees are a little bit more stagnant on spending their money, but I do believe the Yankees are going to, if they need, like DJ LeMahieu, everybody keeps saying he might go here, he might go. He's going to sign with the Yankees. He wants to stay with the Yankees. The Yankees will give him the 2 or 3 year extension that he's probably going to get wherever else he goes. He's going to make about $22-23 million. He was the batting champion. He might be the MVP. Who knows? Whenever that comes out, we don't know. He's going to be expecting a lot of money, and I've heard the Mets, I've heard the Red Sox, I've heard San Diego might be interested in him. There are a lot of teams that are going to be interested in bringing in DJ LeMahieu. I just think growing up as a Yankee fan and being with the Yankees, I think that's where he wants to be. That's where he wants to stay. We'll see what happens. As far as the Yankees spending money this offseason, I think they're going to have to make a lot of choices, Sanchez being one of them. I don't know if Gary Sanchez is the answer. I think he's gone too. I think the Yankees are going to move on from him.
Because they can't pay everybody.
Yeah. He's definitely going to be gone. And they have some catchers right now in their farm system, very good catchers, very good prospects, probably maybe 2 or 3 years away. But I think the Yankees could bring in a veteran guy that can fill in the spot, that can catch the ball. They don't really need a lot of power behind the plate because they got a lot of power on the field. I mean, look, Luke Voit. Look where he came from. I mean, this guy won the home run title this year. I mean, in 60 games. Who would have thought that?
But this is the problem with the Yankees and Yankees fans.
Here goes with the Yankee fans.
No. You guys are touting Luke Voit hit home runs and we're going to sign DJ LeMahieu. That's all terrific. Like, good for you. But you don't have any pitchers that are going to get any outs, so it's going to be the same story every year until you get a pitcher, right?
Well, that's true. And the Yankees are probably not going to re-sign James Paxton. They're not going to bring in Masahiro Tanaka. They're going to have money to spend. They're going to go.
Think they'll bring back Masahiro?
No, not at all.
I think they would bring him back on 1 year.
I've heard that.
Or maybe like the
I heard they're not
bringing player option.
I heard they're not bringing it back
because they need pitching.
Well, that's why I think there's a lot of free agents this year. There's a lot of free agent pitchers that they can bring into the organization. I've been hearing what's his name again from Morton. From the Tampa Bay Rays. That's a guy that they're gunning for. That's the guy that they're looking at. He's pitched very, very well. He's not a power pitcher, but he would fit with the Yankees mold. And they might. I don't think they're going after Bauer. I think he's a Red Sox. I believe Trevor Bauer is going to be a Red Sox. I've thought that in the middle of his season. Speedy, I've been saying it. He's going to be a Red Sox. So. He's not going to be a Met. A lot of Met fans say, let's go after. He's not going to the Mets. Trevor Bauer. He's going to the Red Sox. That's where I believe he's going to go. The Red Sox are going to overpay for him. I think he's a great pitcher.
The new Red Sox don't spend money, though.
I know, but this something tells me he fits the Red Sox mold. He hates the Yankees. Absolutely can't stand the Yankees. And
that's one of his plus column.
And shut up. And he's mean. He's one of those guys. He doesn't take crap from nobody. That's Pedro Martinez. That's a Curt Schilling. He's got that personality. I think he fits the Red Sox mold. I really do, and I believe he'll be a Red Sox.
But I don't think I'm being a Yankee hater when I say that, right? It's great to say, oh, we got Andujar and Voit and LeMahieu, but don't you think they're like
Andujar's
putting
gone.
Their resource? But
Andujar's gone.
right, don't you think they're putting the resources in the wrong spot? Like they haven't really been going after pitchers.
Well, you know what?
Pitching's not easy to find.
The one thing that I blame the Cashman for, and I blame this on Cashman, is he hoarded all his prospects. And I feel, and even though they were good prospects, and I can understand hoarding them, but I think when you had a need, I think you should have ponied up to go get that need.
You do have Savarino that's coming back this year, and Savarino will be fine. You have this kid Garcia that they really, really love, and they should have kept him in that game. I mean, I believe that was right? Yes, I believe that was the reason why they lost that game. They gave it to J.A. Happ. They should have never given the ball to J.A. Happ. They should have let the kid pitch. That's why you have him. I know he's only 20 years old, but let him pitch. Let him figure things out. That was the mistake. Aaron Boone, and everybody keeps saying, oh, look at how stupid Aaron Boone. There are a lot of managers, and I'll name one that everybody keeps thinking is a great manager in Tampa over there, who went into a World Series and cost, I believe, the Tampa Bay Rays an opportunity to win a World Series. So there are managers that make mistakes, and I do not understand why the Red Sox brought in Alex Cora again. That made absolutely no sense. That's a joke. I don't know what I'm not going to say it on air what I really want to say about it. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, you can say it's a joke, but he wasn't in charge of it, and you're also not saying that the Detroit Tigers are a joke because they hired A.J. Hinch, who was behind the whole thing.
That's true.
Well, they're a joke as it is, but I mean, they're going to be a joke. They're going to be a joke anyway, no matter what. So they might as well swing for the fences.
How about the White Sox bringing in a 78-year manager to coach their team
with now 2 DUIs? Imagine getting drunk and telling a cop that you shouldn't be arrested because you're a Hall of Famer.
Good old Tony.
But this is what Yankee fans do. I made a legitimate. You guys are concentrating on bats instead of going after pitching. You agree pitching's a need. You're just trashing the Red Sox because they brought back Alex Cora, and that's a joke. I don't hear you calling the Tigers a joke.
First of all,
but okay.
First of all, as a Yankee fan, and I am a Yankee fan, nobody's lost to know that. I am a Yankee fan. I'm an honest Yankee fan. And I've said this over and over again this year about the Yankees. The Yankees were not going to win a World Series. And I said the reason why the Yankees weren't going to win the World Series, it wasn't their pitching. Because if you look at the Yankees ERA and WHIP in the playoffs the last 3 years, it's one of the most and the best in the league. In the league. Go look. Everybody says the Yankees pitching was terrible. Go look at what they did in the playoffs with Tanaka and everything. Top 3. Yeah, they lost. It wasn't because of their pitching. It was timely hitting. The Yankees don't hit in the clutch. That is the problem with the New York Yankees. It's been the problem with the New York Yankees year in and year out. It has not been pitching. I've said this over and over again. It's timely hitting. You saw that against Tampa. Tampa had they had no chance, really, with the Yankees lineup. There's no reason why the Yankees shouldn't have hit against that pitching. No reason why. And the reason why is the Yankees don't hit in the clutch. That's been the problem for the Yankees since, I could tell you all, since Joe Torre. And that's the truth. Joe Girardi doesn't have a job right now with the Yankees is because the Yankees couldn't hit in the clutch. So,
but that's not the manager's fault.
I know it's not, but they blame it on the manager.
I know that. That's the GM's fault for not getting those guys.
Well,
so how much longer is the leash for Aaron Boone then? How much more do you think that
I think he's got till
next year? Next year. If they don't win the World Series next year, Aaron Boone's gone.
I mean, in this short season, everybody predicted the Yankees to run away with it, and it didn't happen. So this year,
they usually do well at the end of the season.
No.
That's what they
with
do.
the short season of 60 games,
it's not going to be 60 games next year.
No, I understand that, but with this short season, adding Cole to their lineup and what they have, it was a complete. Everybody thought it was predicted. It was assumed they were going to run away with it. They were going to meet the Dodgers, East Coast versus West Coast, and it was an utter failure. Mm-hmm. Utter failure in my eyes.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says.
Know, of course it was. But you want to know something? It was an utter failure for a lot of teams. A lot of teams. The fact that Philadelphia didn't make the playoffs, everybody thought that they were talented. Didi Gregorius is not going back. I mean, there's a lot of stories coming on that Didi's going to go back to the Yankees.
He didn't sign a 1 year. Didn't he sign a 3 year deal?
Yes, he did. No, he signed a 1 year deal.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought it was a 3 year deal.
There 1 year, I think $15 million.
There are rumors that the Yankees are going to bring Didi Gregorius back. So
Interesting.
Yeah, so they're
I thought he was
moving DJ LeMahieu to third base. They're not going to bring Gio Urshela back. That's what I'm hearing. Moving DJ, put Didi at short again, and put Gleyber Torres back at second. And that's what I've been hearing. There were stories coming out. There's 2 stories that I read that the Yankees are looking at bringing back Didi Gregorius. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting offseason. I want to see what the Red Sox do because the Red Sox, I think they're spending money this year. I think they're going to spend money this year. I really do.
Why do you think they're not going to do
they got
anything?
one more year before they wipe away their bad contracts because they still are paying David Price for one more year. They still have J.D. Martinez, who was awful. They have a decision.
Well, you didn't surround it with anybody this year.
Well, right, but I mean
no
terrible.
offense.
Andrew Benintendi was awful.
Any opposing team, I'm not going to let the best hitter beat me.
Right, but Andrew Benintendi was awful.
Well,
right?
I think a lot of players were awful this year because of the situation. So, I mean, you don't know what can happen.
Not the easiest of situations for sure, but when you're talking about J.D. Martinez, who has been a 300 hitter for the last 8 seasons, and then he couldn't even hit his own body weight this year, that's not all that great.
No, I agree with you. Jeff, the question is, what is Chris Sale going to come back and be somewhat decent? You gave him a big-time contract. And I do believe, quote me on this one, Trevor Bauer will be a Boston Red Sox. I will guarantee it. Put all the money on the table.
Just like Patrick Corbin's a Yankee?
Well, that's fine. You want to make jokes? You've said stupid things too. So I put everything on the table. I think Trevor Bauer will be a Boston Red Sox.
And just one correction for you, Errol, because I was listening to you. Steve Cohen is not the richest owner in all of sports. He's just the richest owner in baseball.
Who's the richest owner in sports?
Ballmer.
Oh, the guy from
the Clippers.
The Clippers. Yes, you're right.
Microsoft,
yes,
yeah.
I'm sorry, the Microsoft guy. You're right. All right, he's the
got,
second.
What, 30 billion or so,
yeah,
30 or 40 billion? And
35 billion. You're absolutely right. And
Ryan Cohen's got, what, 8 or 9 or something?
No, 15. 15 billion. He's the second richest owner in sports. I'm sorry.
And the second richest Steve.
I mean, Ballmer, listen, hey, that's nothing to sneeze at, but Ballmer's still the man, bro.
No, yeah, he is, but he also had Bill Gates, okay? I mean, this guy came from nothing, all right?
I mean, not really. Ballmer hasn't been with Microsoft in a decade.
Yeah, but he made his billions off of Bill Gates and Microsoft. That's how he made his money.
Right, yeah, no, I know that. Yeah, he got a shit ton of stock. But,
Bill
but
Gates
the Red Sox still aren't going to spend any money. They're going to, they're going to ride out the last years of their bad contracts and then maybe try to rebuild. Who knows? I
like Trevor Bauer. I like him a lot, and I think he's going to be a Red Sox.
Listen, I hope it happens. I think Trevor Bauer's a terrific pitcher, but when you look at this Red Sox roster, what's attractive about it that we wouldn't want to go play there right now?
Here's the problem I have, and I'm a Mets fan, about Trevor Bauer. One, he talks too much on Twitter, and I hate players and athletes that do that. Number two, if you really look at his body of work, his best year is now. He's not, I mean, he has good stuff, but he's not consistent.
He's got great stuff.
But he's not consistent.
He's not consistent because he was getting coached by Terry Francona, who he hated. He hated Terry Francona.
This guy hates everywhere he goes.
No, he doesn't.
I mean,
he loves Cincinnati. He absolutely loves Cincinnati. The only reason why he's not going to Cincinnati because he wants to play for a big market team that's going to give him a chance to win. And I think the Red Sox are a team that fits him. And I really do. And I think they need that other ace. I don't think Chris Sales is going to be their ace anymore. I think he's their second guy. I think Trevor Bauer is an ace. And I think that the guy's proven he'd never get injured. The guy's always healthy, and he plays. He plays no matter what. No matter what, the guy plays. And I don't think he's ever going to hurt his arm or his shoulder or his or anything because the guy has the science behind him, and he understands the science behind pitching. And you saw that. I saw that on Real Sports and baseball. I mean, the guy is him and his father. His father is a engineer, a science engineer guy. I mean, and he's a boy genius, they say about him. He's a genius when it comes to science and math. So I think Trevor Bauer is going to be – I really do believe – listen, I would love Trevor Bauer to be a Yankee. I just don't think the Yankees are going to pay him.
No, they just paid Cole.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to pay him. I think the Red Sox – I could see the Red Sox giving him the money.
I think a lot of teams are going to be in for him. So
a lot of teams will be in for him. San Diego's interested in him, I heard. But I think he wants to go to a big market team, and I think the Red Sox are the team. I think the Red Sox are the team that can give him what he wants, and put him and Chris Sale.
He's had better success in the National League than he has in the American League.
You put him with Chris Sale, I mean, you have a pretty good 1-2 punch, man. That's a pretty good 1-2 punch. Chris Sale.
I need to know what Chris Sale is coming back.
Yeah, even if he's a number 2 and number 3 guy, he's still better than most number 2 and number 3 guys in the league. And Chris Sale, I think Chris Sale will be fine. I just don't think he'll be a 1 anymore. But Jeff, thank you for calling, bud.
Before I go, can I get Mikey's take on how he thinks the Cowboys season is going?
Well, I mean, they're doing great. I mean, what else can you say?
Oh, poor Dak, man.
Do you think this is the year they win the second Super Bowl in a row? Because last year was the first. I heard they were going to win 3 in a row.
I mean,
he corrected himself. He said Dak will win 1.
The way it's looking, it's possibility. Especially with the NFC being so bad overall. I think the Cowboys might actually have a shot to go all the way.
With what, a 4th-string quarterback?
And a horrendous defense.
They're only 1.5 games back in the NFC East. They could really still pull this thing out.
Yeah, and their 4th-string quarterback, we've never even heard who he is. I mean, seriously, I had this guy Rush. I don't know who he is. The other guy that played...
Where is that dude, the Beef?
The Beef?
Yeah, tell him to call up.
The Beef?
Listen, if you're listening, call up.
The Beef's not listening today. He's too busy fondling himself.
He's too busy polishing his Dallas Cowboys helmet. He's the next one in the game.
I mean,
poor kid.
It is what it is. I was all for paying Dak. Only because it would screw up their cap even more.
Honestly,
but now it's proven that they actually need Dak.
Dak is good. It proves that Dak is a good quarterback.
For that system.
I mean, how many Hall of Famers would you say that Ezekiel Elliott is better than? I say all of them.
Well, I did tell the Beef that Ezekiel Elliott doesn't fit. Offense.
Listen, Jeff,
he doesn't.
Just because the elevator doesn't go up on certain people doesn't mean we got to keep taking shots at it. We all know that it stops past the first floor with the Beef, so there's no need to really go any further than that.
That poor kid, man. You guys are bad.
Okay, I haven't mentioned his name once.
Well,
why are you saying that I'm the one?
No.
Because I know all your Dallas references are all towards him, which is fine and dandy. But I just look at it as it's like one of those kids in ESL. You know what I'm saying? You just got to take time to develop it. One day he'll finally figure it out.
Man.
Like Errol with the Jets. One day he'll figure it out that the franchise is cursed. They're not going to win, and just move along.
God. I don't believe in any of that curse.
See? Exactly.
I don't believe in any of that curse.
ESL is a hell of a thing.
That's not ESL. That's just facts. There's no such thing as cursed. You guys are out of your minds. There's no such thing.
I mean, if you really look at it, though, right, like, there really could be a curse, though, because all I'm saying is this. The Dallas Cowboys looked like a contender last year until what happened?
Dak
they
Prescott
played the Jets. Until they played the Jets. Once you lose to the Jets, I feel like they're
all right, Jeff.
like, oh
thank you. Goodbye, Jeff. Thank you for calling. We love you. Thank you.
Oh, love you too. Steve, you suck.
Jeff from Tampa. He does baffle me sometimes, and he does babble a lot. But he makes some good points. I don't believe a franchise is hexed or any of that stuff. I really don't believe that. I just believe the franchise is poorly run all these years. It really
They say it goes back to all the way to Leon Hess owning the team.
I think
something along those lines.
I like Douglas. I like him. I think he's made some really good moves in the draft. I don't like his acquisitions in free agents. Desir has been a bust. So that's strike 2 for him. I mean, there's just a couple of pieces that just didn't stand out to me. I think he needs to stick with the draft, stop bringing in these terrible free agents. Make sure that if you bring in a free agent, the free agent is not past due, unlike that center that they brought in last year. And Pierre Desir.
Yeah, you brought him out of retirement and you thought
it didn't make sense.
He was going to be a Pro Bowler.
I thought
I'm a
being
firm
that he was a Pro Bowler.
When I've noticed this trend, and I kind of said this, when you're out of football for a while and your body heals, you don't really come back the same player. I said that about Marshawn Lynch. He wasn't the same player. I'm seeing, we're seeing it with the center that comes back. I'm seeing it with Le'Veon Bell. I'm just
Antonio
seeing,
Brown.
Because when your body heals, Gronk's not the same player.
Yeah, but he's playing better at football.
I don't know about that. Just because he had 1 or 2 good games.
Well, I still think the Tampa Bay
I just
Buccaneers
feel, because you got to remember, football's a contact sport. You're not getting beat up every single day. Your body doesn't get used to it. You're repairing yourself. You're relaxing. You're doing other things, and then you go back into that regimen again. It's completely different when your body gets back into it, especially as you get older. And I knew Marshawn Lynch was going to be a bust, and I called it. And it happened. And now Le'Veon Bell.
That was a Raiders team that had a very good offensive line, too, and he still struggled on it badly.
It's amazing.
Well, that's it for our show, ladies and gentlemen. Great show, Mike. I'm happy that you came in. Hopefully we get Mike again and again and again.
Yeah, I'll see you in 2 years.
He's just kidding, guys.
Maybe the Jets will win a game by then.
I hope so.
Maybe. Just maybe.
Nah, the Jets will be fine. I'm confident that they have the right management in place. We'll see what happens.
It's not management. It's ownership.
No, I think the ownership opens my... Listen, as long as Johnson...
Let's be fair about this. The Brooklyn Nets. Horrible franchise. They finally got competency with ownership.
Yeah.
The Asian guy that took over. Brand new GM. Changed the franchise.
Great
whole thing.
Great idea. Bringing in Steve Nash. Bringing in...
no, I didn't say that.
Great idea. Perfect.
I'm not talking about that. We don't know how it's going to translate, so you can't speak on it. I'm just talking about when the Russian guy left, Prokhorov is gone, where it was a circus. Now it's not a circus right now.
It is a circus. No, you brought Steve Nash in.
Okay, they haven't played a game, so you can't.
He's terrible. What are you doing? D'Antoni being his assistant. You're bringing in, who's the other? Amari Stoudemire being your assistant.
They didn't play a game yet.
They're not
I'm talking about bringing in Sean Marks, bringing in, Kenny Atkins.
Marks will be fired after this year.
Doesn't matter. It's changing the culture of that franchise. The Islanders were a laughingstock. Sold it to Malkin and Ledecky. Brought in Lou Lamoriello. Changed the culture of the franchise. The Mets, Wilpon sold it. It's changing the culture. The Jets got Woody. The Johnsons got to sell.
Okay, so the Maras have to sell. The Maras have to sell.
I agree. I totally agree. I think they should. I think Tisch was really smart and Mara's really a moron. Period. I'm not going to lie. I say it.
We'll get John again.
See you in 2 years.
Anyways, that's it for our show, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back next week. Remember the Weekend Crunch. Yes, all you have to do is listen to us on 103.9, the LI News Radio Network, every single Saturday night here in Long Island. If you can't, LI News Radio app on iHeartRadio. They're all over the place. Just look up 103.9 LI News Radio, and you can listen to the show with me and Eric Coleman and Speedy Petey. We'll be back on Monday. Until then, this is Errol Mark, Speedy Petey, and Mikey C. And good night. And say, Sarah, Sarah, whatever will be, will
I'm
be.
missing Masked Singer later.
Good night.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.